Am I supposed to be rolling for initiative right now?
Yes, please. Roll yourself into initiative. It's not
snap.
real initiative. It's fake initiative.
All initiative is real initiative.
It's sort of initiative. Initiative light.
Initiative light. Oh no.
Means probably good things for you right now, Yaz. Like talking last.
It does mean talking last. You have decoded it.
That's true.
Whoa, thanks for the gems,
Oh, thank you for the gems. I haven't finished moving my screens around, so I can't see who just gave us gems. Oh!
It's okay, it was just me.
Thank you.
It was just me.
Still, it's appreciated.
It's not a real person.
Well, you're all real people to me. Even though I have no proof of that, you could all be internet ghosts. So, welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. We're going to be playing some Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. We are working our way through the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, which, by the way, won this on one of the auctions. No, giveaways. No, what do you call them?
You won on
Raffles.
Raffle. That's the one I want. Thank you. Good word.
Raffle.
Got it on one of the raffles that we were doing on the channel. So that is the give me free things and I will run games trade-off that basically happens. But in the meanwhile, the party's working their way through some adventures. We're going to talk about that in a second. But before we dive in, just as a heads up and reminder, next week we will not be playing Tyranny of Dragons. We will be doing our Extra Life game. I will be running a Goblin game. There's a whole bunch of other ones going on the channel. So everyone keep an eye out for that cool schedule and donate and such things. We're still a little ways off of our goal of playing the Planet of the Tarrasques bonus game. So let's get those donations in there. I want to be level 20 and fight Tarrasques. But
too.
In the meanwhile, I'll be DMing some Goblin nonsense on Wednesday. The full schedule will be roaming around there. You can do the donations clicking on a little Extra Life link, which I think is bottom right-hand corner of the Twitch stream at this point.
We also have some of those games that still have room for players, at least one. So if people watch this and think, I'd like to play in one of these games, join the Discord and you can.
Absolutely. I think if I do !Discord. There's the Discord link. So hop in there, join us, say hi, hop in a game. We run the community campaigns almost every week or every other week. Patreon supporters get first dibs on those. Then it goes to the Twitch subscribers, and as well as inviting other people to join in. Most of the games don't really have a requirement. Just be there and act cool, and we'll invite you to games and come play. The Extra Life has tied up just about all of my spare time, but once I'm free on that, there'll be a couple more one-shots going off. I do have a request for Sunless Citadel, so if anybody's interested in playing in a Sunless Citadel low-level campaign, I'll be running one of those probably sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas in there, maybe. And we'll see how that all goes. But for the players at hand, I have Sho, Anrin, Yaz, Rob. Who am I missing? Chiquito, please roll me an initiative.
Sure, I'm just having a hard time connecting to the Roll20 server, but
no problem.
As soon as my character sheet loads up, you'll get it.
You got it. And we're going to assume for the moment that Chiquito will not beat out Rob Oakes, coming in at a respectable 20.15 initiative.
That's a good.
And if he does, it'll surprise us, and we'll work back towards it. But what I'm going to ask each of the characters to do for their introduction this week, give us the name, give us what they do, and then let me know what is the thing that is top of mind? What event, what concern, what memory is top of mind for them now? They're about a day outside of Dragonspear. Just a day ago, they were assaulted by assassins, managed to get away and kind of, get out of town, and we won't talk any more of this. Just take your troubles and be gone. Now that they're a day out of town and they're sitting down to a delicious breakfast of chewy, chunky gruel, what is the thing that they remember or is most influential on them right now? And Rob Oakes gets to kick us off. And of course, feel free to drag other party members in. No one is safe. Just because they're low on the initiative doesn't mean you won't target them. Rob, what you thinking about right now?
Point of clarification.
Sure.
Like, what do I remember most? What's the thing that's occurred in game the most that's on my head?
Any of the above. So just kind of what's most pressing on Rob Oak's mind this morning as he finds himself staring down into lumpy gruel.
Yeah, I'm not having a good day. I'm Rob Oakes. I'm a wandering minstrel, troubadour. I've been all around, seen a couple bits of life, and right now, last couple places we've been, people have had my picture on little drawings, and I haven't been necessarily averse to fame, but this feels a little bit more on the side of, people who want to shoot me to get Jodie Foster's attention. I'm just like not as into it, and I'm concerned right now actually that my name's gonna go with that, and they're gonna track it back to somebody I care about back in and that's what's on my head right now. A little worried about somebody back home.
Gotcha. And then along with that, Show, next up, what's on your mind as we are diving into gruel?
I am Shodlara. I am a very tall half-orc barbarian with blue skin and a mohawk. And as I am troubled by the attack that occurred in Dragonspear, and it was much more targeted than the previous encounters have been, and so I am concerned with making sure that I do all that I can to protect my friends and the others on the caravan who cannot protect themselves. There are a lot of people here who are not capable warriors, and it falls on those of us who can to protect them. So I am watching for threats, and I'm a little on edge.
Sounds good. Stepping us next down, Anrin. What have you got on your mind?
Things on my mind. I'm thinking that Sho is a tall, blue-skinned, mohawk-wearing barbarian who seems to be able to pull lightning out of the sky with little effort, and yet she is sad and she is doubting herself. And I'm a short, brown-skinned, long-haired, pretty much unprepossessing elf barbarian who's definitely felt touched by and supported by the spirit of my totem, and I'm worried that she's going from. I'm just worried about her, not so much worried about my clan. They have fought dragons before. I am excited about fighting dragon. I'm looking forward to it.
Fair. That'll take us down to Chiquito. Chiquito, are you putting up the facade of eating at this point, or just letting that one go?
I mean, I'll pick it up and put it to my mouth and then hand it off to somebody else. But every once in a while, I'll ask what it tastes like. But I'm not, unless I'm a horse or something like that, I'm not going to be eating too much.
Fair enough. So the cooks have basically worked out that you don't really eat much, but so they just put a little splash in your bowl when you come by. They don't want to deny you, but they also don't want to waste a whole bowl full of food. So what's on your mind this morning as you look over your sampler of food?
Well, I'd be holding first and foremost, I'd be asking Anrin to describe my meal, what it tastes like, I'd go ahead and put it up to my mouth and then hand it off to her and say, "What, Aaron? What is this? What can you describe it for me, please?" Wow.
No?
No.
No.
Okay, thanks.
And yeah, to be fair, the food's been traveling with you for a few weeks now, so all the good stuff has basically been used up, and you're still a little ways away from Waterdeep and Daggerford, some of the larger towns. So you've worked your way down to the oats that weren't the best to serve in the meal. They're a little, some of them aren't particularly shelled or hold well. They're not flaked real great. There's a couple of bugs in them. It's chunky.
Chunky.
It's chunky.
I have a question for Chiquito. This
Yeah.
has changed my whole mindset. When you're a horse and you eat, do you get to taste this? What does it taste like?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it tastes. I don't know. I do taste it. I mean, if you remember back at the tavern,
And just for those of you that don't know that are watching Chiquito's Warforged Druid,
back at the tavern when I was a horse, I was pretty much getting drunk. I was having a great time. But,
Now, what happened to all that beer when you changed back?
well, I could choose to do with it two things. I could deposit it out into cubes, or I could stay as an animal and it go out the more natural way. I guess I don't know. Things itch more as an animal. I feel things moving around a bit more as an animal than I would. Every once in a while, I get these things. It gets stuck in my throat, and like air escapes from my mouth, like a. What was that?
I'm just laughing because I'm pretty sure you just invented Energon. You basically transform into beast mode, eat. When you turn back, you're able to cube out the energy. There you go.
There you go. It's all set up. But even more so, I think what Chiquito at the moment is kind of worried about. He kind of is on the same with the same boat as Show at the moment. He doesn't like being threatened as much as they've been lately. The fact that, I mean, he's not. I guess it's right to think that it's not right for someone to try to take your life and then be thrown out of a tavern. I'm a bit confused at the moment, and definitely on edge as well as Show. I'm a bit peeved off.
And I will note or share that had you been assaulted in the tavern and defended yourselves to the best of your ability, there probably wouldn't have been as much trouble as you having led into that situation, wanting to practice with a greatsword inside the tavern, and then the call for help not being help please we're being attacked, but bring your greatsword and your bow too. So, I feel that particular tavern owner was in their rights to be like, how about we just ask you to leave? Now, as we move along, Yaz, what are you contemplating this morning?
Yes. Well, for one is keeping in mind for next time they are attacked in a tavern to use different verbiage. Because I'm pretty sure that was me who called out bring your greatsword.
Just, maybe something that's... Because you really kind of had him riled up.
It's not your fault. That guy, it's a tavern. I would
It was
assume.
good advice. I mean,
He
you
was
didn't
touchy. He
want
didn't
to
know
bring
what
the
was
sword.
going on.
I didn't want to go bye-bye. I like
Yeah,
being here.
we were being attacked, and that seemed like the correct way to defend self. You have new big weapon, use new big weapon. It made sense at the time. looking back, because hindsight is 2020, maybe I should have done things a little.
You know what? It's a tavern I probably didn't want to be in anyway. They didn't care that much about someone getting attacked.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Chiquito. He makes strong points. Other thing that is on mine though, besides that, similar concerns of Show, just as she is a extra tall, blue-skinned, mohawked half-orc. I am lizard. I'm lizard folk. I stand out. I could possibly disguise as Dragonborn, but there's the issue with the tail. I got these big frills. I try to paint myself blue, and that doesn't work. And I know that they have picture of me because I seen picture. Actually, it's right here. So put that back away. So they know clearly what I look like, and even just a palette swap of how I look isn't going to need enough. And I worry that if I don't find a better way to hide myself, then it's going to cause the people that I now see as a family are going to be put in danger.
Have you ever thought about disguising yourself as a centaur? There's kits.
There's kits?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's things you can do that even makes it look like you're walking.
No,
Crazy.
kids are foxes. You're thinking of foals.
Oh, so...
Oh, no, see, now I saw what you did there. Oh.
So wait, am I disguising myself as a fox or a foal?
I think you could go either way. I mean,
Okay.
just need to get the right.
If you are a fox body with a lizard top, or you some kind of sphinx, I think.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
That would be interesting.
Could you do that?
Lizard fox. It sounds like something from I don't know, like a young teenager trying to write and be cool.
How are you with paper mache?
Paper what? What is this strange art of paper mache?
It's you could get paper and get some tree sap and get some water and let it dry and it'll form. It almost forms like a round. So I was thinking maybe we could, if you wanted, we could make you a. Wait, we're not gonna do that. What am I thinking?
I mean,
pull up a board.
Technically, when I was speaking with the one who trains me in my powers, so to speak, technically I probably could have done something that allows me to hide myself much easier, but at the time I thought, dang, it would be really cool to talk to Chiquito, and I did something else. So now I can talk to you.
You can, yeah, you can.
Again, it hasn't come up much. We're usually too busy, smacking things and screaming and running.
When I'm an animal.
Yes. So now I could be like your interpreter.
So as that discussion is going on, and you're starting to think about maybe the disguise ideas amongst the contemplation, a gnomish woman makes her way over to your group, and she notices, what Chiquito's doing, showing the spoon to Anrin, and then Anrin, taking a bite of theirs, and she sort of leans over. She says, "I would go easy on the food for a moment. When you get a second, follow me. Bring your food, but don't eat any more of it." And she heads off a little ways, kind of behind where most of the bustle is. Sure, go ahead and roll an insight check.
Being already on edge.
Can I whisper to Coca to sniff it and see what it smells like?
Sure.
If there's something weird.
So Coca takes a little sniff and doesn't seem to smell anything weird. Coca gives you the quick feedback that it smells like oats. And the young woman just kind of gestures you off. Now she's not taking you out into the woods where she could easily stab you out of sight, but she definitely wants to be a bit further away than most people could overhear. So maybe 10-15 yards off in yon direction. And it's early morning before anybody's gotten on the road, so at that distance, it would be hard to tell who's who, looking from, back where the carts are sitting at.
Unless one of the people is 7 feet tall and blue and one of them is a lizard.
Even then, it'd be hard to tell who's saying what when.
Yeah. Well, I have a beard now, so I'm okay.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very good disguise.
I keep thinking that cloaks would have been a good investment.
I have a cloak. I'm still 7 feet tall.
I have glitter. That
I
doesn't
already
help.
ate
with disguising,
half of
though. I think
this.
that makes me stand out.
So we
I
are
was all
following.
hungry because we were talking about how Chiquito poops, and I just kept eating, and
Well, I mean, I saved those.
now it's half gone. Well, I wasn't hungry.
Wait, you
Never
save
mind.
your poop?
Wait.
Well,
No.
good berries. What do you think?
Oh no!
Oh, I thought you were talking about the cubes.
Okay. Yeah.
Never mind.
Sure. Don't worry about it.
Chiquito's
let
half
me
one.
die.
You guys want? You
Just
going
let me die.
let me know when you guys want more good berries. I make them all the time.
I'm going to go over to Jemna and say, "Why are we following you?"
She says, "Here, lower your bowl down a bit. I just want to check on something." And she pulls out one of her daggers. She's got a brace of daggers on her hip. She pulls out a dagger, and she's gnomish woman, long hair. She's got a cool little hat going on. Not wearing any earrings or obvious jewelry. Fairly loose flowing clothing. And she joined on with the group in Dragonspear. So you've only been seeing her around the carts for about a day. She's probably a passenger, but you haven't really studied her because she's not staying with any one group. She's just moving up and down, traveling along with you.
You're doing
That is
things
wonderful.
specific? But yeah, there's one of her. There's many of us.
Mhm.
That doesn't always mean much. But I'm not at all disturbed. I just wonder what are you doing with the dagger?
So she takes the dagger. She says, "I want to see something about the food. You thought there was something in it, right?"
Well, we thought that it was lumpy and had dead bugs. Yes.
And she takes her dagger, and you can see she's pressing down on the lumps, and most of them squish, 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 squish. But one of them, as she presses down on it, kind of gives a little sproing, and she lifts it out, and what had once been balled up is now spread out. A little star-shaped set of tines. Look like maybe they're carved of bone or some other material, and they're spiky looking. Had you been chewing on it, probably would have chewed a bit in your mouth. And she says, "Yeah, if you swallow these, the sticky bit on top dissolves, and then they open up in your stomach. It's a bad way to go. You see any blood in your pot, get to a cleric."
Where would we find
The bowl.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so some folks look like they have it out for you. Is that
Huh.
fair to say?
That is more
Yeah.
than fair to say. Yes.
Question: How did you know about it?
Well, I'm familiar with that trick, and when I saw you looking over your food, I figured I'd look mine over too, and I found the same.
in your food? Why would anybody want to do that to you?
Well, are you familiar with the Zentarum? And you might know of the Zentarum. They're also known as the Black Network. They're a group, they're a very widespread group of smugglers, thieves, cutthroats, and the like. But they're fairly honorable as far as money goes. They are basically the black market everywhere.
And they were called
The Zentarum.
Zentarum.
Then talk.
So whereas the Harpers are kind of the good guys, the Zentarum are kind of the shady, mafia-esque type.
And both of them spy.
And both of them spy. And so Jemna sort of looks you over. She She says, well, if you've heard of the Zentarum, I belong to that group. And there's a number of folks traveling along with you that aren't paying their dues, and they're trying to move an awful lot of awful expensive goods. We don't like that, and they don't like being noticed.
A lucky day. Although, Rob, did you eat everything?
No, just half. I might still be good, but I
Rob,
don't know.
could I have a Constitution saving throw from you? Your honesty is
That's the way it
appreciated.
goes.
I never stated how much I should eat. Should I roll?
No, well, how much do you feel you've eaten so far this morning? Did you eat?
I don't know. I feel like as Yaz, he will take advantage of whatever food he can get, and he probably would have eaten it.
Okay,
as much as I hate to say it.
Go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw then, please.
He probably would have.
Oh,
Definitely ate it.
neither of us are doing well.
So, Rob, you're not sure. You're just like, oh, I ate half a bowl, and you're like, would I feel it immediately? I don't know. Yaz is like, oh, I've got pains. And you're almost certain you're suffering from a malady of some sort right now. Rob, you're like, could go either maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
Am I able to, like, turn to the bushes and, like, trigger a quick purge and see if that does anything?
Yeah.
Or is that a little too
You might
too far
accidentally
gone at that
Eldritch
point?
Blast, but
So
I
let's
don't know.
let's call that one a self-applied medicine check. Give me a quick medicine check.
Alright. Let's give that a try. Where'd my character sheet go?
Let's see if you can pull this one.
Woohoo! This is gonna be fun. Here we go.
That's not too bad. So, Yaz, you feel the pain, you rush over, you get everything out. You are empty. You still feel wretched, but you're pretty sure. And Jamna's like, oh, that was awful. I never want to see that again.
Chiquita would go and kind of go through the throw up and try to find the pieces. He's gonna sift through it.
Perception investigation, something?
Something?
I'll do perception if that's okay.
Sure. So, unfortunately, Yaz sort of panicked and sprayed. So you see twigs and like there's a wide area, and you're like, well, I can't tell if this stone or bone was there or not. Like this could have been one.
To be fair, it's hard with your ass. Everything. I just assume everything came out.
Yeah,
you ain't anything.
You're like, that might have been the shin bone from yesterday from the person she bit. So, or he bit. Sorry, excuse me. So yeah, it's a little tricky to tell. But Jen was like, look, this isn't gonna go down clean. They're trying to smuggle an awful lot through our place, and they're not behaving well. We're gonna come down on them hard, and I think it'd be easier for everyone if you weren't here when that happened. And if anyone that you absolutely know isn't involved in this also wasn't here.
Okay.
Anybody still with us from the original train that we liked?
I think the only one who's still with that Anrin was fond of was the shield dwarven woman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I would speak to Werther.
And Werther.
I would definitely talk to her.
And
I was worried about the rest of them.
now Jana says, so what was your goal here? Because you're not with the network.
We have been contracted to watch this caravan and see where it is going.
Contracted
Find
by
out.
who?
other organizations not unlike your own.
Gonna need you to be a little clearer.
I don't think I can. I don't know that we are at liberty to divulge.
How about a quick persuasion or something along those lines?
Sure.
Jamna's like, all right, I can respect discretion. Why were you
allied with them?
Why were you watching after them?
They are concerned about these riches moving to the north. They were stolen far to the south, and they are concerned that the organization that contracted us was originally concerned that these riches would be used to raise an army. But if they are traveling to the north, they did not think that made sense because there are no armies for sale in the north. So they want to know why the riches are going there and what they are to be used for. Because they don't know of anything to the north that these things would be useful for. They are not trading them. They've had opportunity that we were in Baldur's Gate, we were in Dragonspear, they could have sold things, they did not. They are not selling things, they are merely moving them. And they want to know why.
Jamna's sort of nodding along. All right, well that checks out. My group got involved because some of these smugglers have already reached Daggerford and Waterdeep and are heading north from there. 1 or 2 wagon loads is a bit of an insult, but we can let that slide. Wagon train after wagon train is just an act of war against us, so we need to act back. Our plan is to set upon them when they're between the forests, referencing about a week north. What I'd suggest you do is anyone who you believe should hang back, have them hang back over the next day or two. Give at least 2 to 3 days ahead. For yourselves, if you're trying to track them, have you got anything of value on you? I don't like giving away information for free.
What do you consider to be of value?
Gold, gems, the like.
What about information for information?
What have you got to trade?
We could tell you more about them. We could tell you what we know of them and who they are affiliated with.
So give me something like a history to structure what you want to explain you know without giving it away. So you kind of hint what you know, she hints what she knows, and okay. I'll let you know about what I know of Waterdeep, you let me know about what you know about this caravan, and I think we'll come to an equitable arrangement. Now, and the conversation goes on a little bit longer, the wagons start getting underway, and you start moving along, so it's not too obvious. You break out, you come back together a couple of times throughout the day for this conversation to take place. Now, what we've noticed is carts are leaving Waterdeep with cargo being added to it, heading up along the North Road to where repairs are being done on the road near the Mere of Dead Men. That part of the trade way washed out long ago and cut off overland trade to Neverwinter. The repairs have been going along slowly, but too much is being sent up there. More supplies than the place could use. That's what tipped off our accounting team. We were tracking it back down south, and now we see this heavily laden set of cargo heading north, and the numbers just don't add up. We don't like it when the numbers don't add up. Now, You say you've got information about the caravan. Where's the cargo being smuggled at? Whose carts are being overloaded?
We have reason to believe that the ale cart is one of them. We have suspicions about the halfling with the heavy cart, with the team of horses.
Mm-hmm.
We have some other suspicions as well, though not as verified. We are relatively certain of the ale cart being affiliated and problematic. And we had suspicion of the halfling before we hit Baldur's Gates. He was one of the few that continued on.
That seems like good information. Now, who are you going to be sharing this information with? Because if things go sour, I want to know who to kill.
Well,
We want to kill?
Yes, if information leaks right now, I know to kill all 5 of you. If additional information leaks, who will you be telling?
Man, I'll just eat the other bowl. Half of the bowl.
I mean, if you're off and away, it shouldn't be any trouble, but you understand lives are on the line here.
Yeah.
Well, we could certainly give you the name of someone that we would not care if they lived or died, and there would be nothing you could do about that. It might even lead you into danger. So I feel like this is not really a great way of establishing any kind of trust.
Oh, I'm not looking for trust. What I'm saying is I've told you a secret. That secret can put my compatriots at a great deal of risk, and I want you to consider before you tell anyone else what type of information you're giving.
Why'd you just say that? Or just said, be quiet or I'll kill you.
Because if I don't say be quiet or I kill you, certain people don't understand. Now, I've asked, are there folks that you are absolutely certain are not involved in this, and they can be told to stay behind, but if one of those are involved in this, and the information about the ambush is leaked, well...
Oh, you definitely should be more clear in your parsing. That is not what I understood you to say at all.
Me either.
Sorry, common is my
Then
8th
again,
language.
I'm miles away.
Well, if I find it difficult to believe that Elfkin would be involved in this. I don't mind you having her name. You would know it anyway because she'd stay behind. The other person I'm not positive of, but this could just be prejudice on my part. I'm beginning to recognize that. It's Edery. She's new. She's got a wagon load of things that aren't from the continent. She's an elf, a snooty elf, but an elf. I don't know about her.
Do you have suspicions of particular carts?
I do not. I haven't been here long enough. One of my contacts who keyed me into the caravan said that the whole place seemed a bit sketchy. You seem to be getting in trouble more than any others, and I've seen flyers around with your faces on them.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like you're part of the group. So you seemed like a lot of hassle that could be asked to go away and would probably leave.
Pretty presumptuous.
May I ask a question of those you find bringing these not matching supplies? Do any of them that you have noticed carry draconic paraphernalia. Things of draconic nature.
And she gives that one a little bit of thinking. I've heard it. Rumor has it that this is related to the cult of the dragon, those lich worshippers. But I don't see how or why. But that's not really my business. My business is to make it easy for the next folks coming along.
It definitely is connected to the cult of the dragon. That is exactly why we are tracking it.
Well, that'll make things a little easier, as very few people feel bad about killing that sort.
I don't believe everyone is with it, but I don't know well enough which are not.
Well,
their recruiting is fierce.
it doesn't really benefit us to slaughter people who are running away. It just exhausts our horses and, creates problems. So, when we attack, as long as they're not defending anything too valuable, once they see our overwhelming numbers, they should run. Anyone who stays probably has more invested in their cart than they let on.
Are any of the carts on this caravan paying their dues?
A few are, but I won't be sharing which.
It would be good to know if those we think we can trust are paying.
That's a bit more than your information was worth.
I have been contracted to protect this caravan, and I do not like breaking my word. I do not intend to protect those who follow this cult. But if there are those who are in good standing, who have kept to their word, I would keep mine to them.
Right. I was going to say, I don't know if it... I mean, yes, it seems like we have a bit of a common enemy, but the fact putting good people's lives in danger, that don't sit well with me.
If there is a merchant here with valuable goods who would fight to protect it, but is not among them, should they die?
Well, if they don't have the sense to run.
Well, I cannot abide that.
Well, if you stay, you'll get to decide. Personally, I suggest you make whatever amends you need to, pay back any money, get out of whatever contract, and make whatever excuses you need, and part ways, because they're trying to kill you.
Some of them are.
A lot of people are. Get in line.
I think she is already in line.
Oh, I have nothing against you. I won't be here much longer. Just a scout.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. It meant that you're giving us fair warning, which I appreciate. Your
appreciate
purposes
the
aren't.
breakfast warning.
Yeah. Well, and everything, but your purposes aren't necessarily ours. And so I appreciate the information, but for myself, I'd have to actually, I'd have to make up my own mind and discuss it with the group.
Well,
So either you'll find us here or you won't, and I appreciate what you've told us.
and I'll let you know that you have at least a day before the woods close in. After that, we're going to come. And if you decide to be here, don't try and put up defenses. A lot of arrows will be coming your way. Just run.
Oh. We should. And thank you.
And with that, Jamna sort of tips her hat and moves away. And she travels along with the caravan a little bit longer. You'd see her conversing with other folks. And then eventually, you just don't see her amongst the caravan anymore. And by the time evening rolls around, you still haven't seen her for a while. Sometime during the day, she broke away and is no longer traveling with you.
Rob, I have a favor to ask of you. You are much better with people than I am. I would like you to speak to a caravan master here. His name is Werther. I have spoken to him many times. I think that I would trust him, but I trust many who I should not.
That happens.
He's has a cartload of silks, but that could easily hide other cargo. And it worries me. I would warn him of this if he should be warned, but I don't know. Could you speak to him? Get a read? Tell me what you find, what you think?
Yeah, I can try. Give it a go. Sure. So I'll try to talk to Werther.
Sure. Werther has, he's a human man. He's got a load of Kalashite silk in the back of a wagon. It's a fairly flat wagon. The silk's all laid out and piled nicely, and then tarped down and set. 2 horses pulling it, and he's been pretty companionable the whole time. You might recall from earlier, he was the one who did not like having Samerdag around because of the bad luck that Samerdag brings with him. As you head over, Werther's, hey.
Why? Well, you're in charge of this whole kit and caboodle, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going for the whole caravan master, or just Werther, who was in charge of his own wagon?
I may have said caravan master.
Oh.
He's just the
Okay.
master of
Yeah,
that one wagon.
he's just the master of
all
that
right.
one wagon. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
He's the merchant in charge of this wagon load of silks.
So, you're carrying silk is what I understand.
Oh yes, the finest silk out of Kalasham. Very, very fine. I hope to make a killing once I reach Waterdeep.
So, do you just sell the silk, or do you like work it into things? Like, are you a craftsman with it, or?
I find I can make more profit selling the bolts as they are. When they are crafted, it fades with the fashions. If I am not quick enough, by the time I arrive, the fashion, it has moved on. But with the bolts, they can craft the fashion at the moment.
See, I was hoping maybe I could get a Werther's original, but it was not to be. Sorry, it was there.
What?
And it's Dusty's favorite candy. 'Cause she's my grandpa.
I didn't realize that Dusty's an old man.
I know, that's what I.
You want a Werther? I got
want
3 in my pocket. I got 3 in my pocket.
They've been there since 1909. Anyway, so
The aught.
no,
Literally originals
Uh-oh, I
from the
think
first
Paul's-
batch.
I think Paul's sputtering.
Uh-oh, Paul?
Yeah,
Tap
I
it,
can't hear
wiggle it.
anymore.
Nope.
I think you ran over your cord.
Yeah, your cord might have.
There, oh, here's something. There you go. We
Hey.
got you.
I did run over my cord.
Oh,
Anyway, I could hear you though, so it only unplugged the mic, not the headphones. All right, so sorry, I didn't do that really, but I did want to talk about the silks, and so just getting them chatting. And so, is it just pardon my curiosity? I'm just my mom was a seamstress, and she she sewed my new blue jeans, and I was the son of a gambling man, as it turns out, and I was just wondering if I could pay, because my mom got me out of a lot of trouble, and I was just hoping maybe I could send her back something. I mean, are you selling any of this on the road? Is there?
Well, I had
I mean,
not
I don't know if I
intended
can
to, but
afford
the weather's fair enough. It shouldn't cause any trouble. Was there a particular shade that you wished? And he kind of goes to the back and he starts undoing it. It's fairly deep in there, but you're looking to buy, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to, sell a little. And as he gets the side open, you can see it's sort of, layered from the bottom up in a arrangement of dies so that, like is near like. So if there's any bleeding, it, bleeds appropriately.
I tell him I'm looking for blue, but then I'm also really kind of interested in maybe a red so that I can scan the whole thing. And then I'm going to look and see, do I notice anything that looks like he's got a hidden compartment or he's got anything else in there?
So when he's showing you, you just basically see it's a big stack, and he's just showing you the edge. And if you can imagine, like, seeing the corners of, like, one of those big piles of rugs, basically you can see 3 inches in, but there could be a huge compartment cut out of the middle, and you'd never know it. Obviously, if you wanted some of the lighter stuff's up on the top, the almost undyed, it's kind of a pale color. But this is the red.
The blue. Maybe. No, I'm sorry. Back to the blue. I really probably should go with blue. She did make the blue jeans for me, and I think that'd be nice. And then if he's starting to pull that out, I'd like to do a pratfall.
Okay.
Like slip on some mud or something. And land kind of on my back if I can.
Okay.
In such a way as to see under the cart. Is that even possible? If we're standing at the back, the way I was picturing it is we're standing at the back of the cart. He's got the doors open or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm seeing all this sort of bolts of silk.
Yep.
And the caravan's moving, right?
Yeah, caravan's moving. So it's you're kind of walking along as it goes, and you want to kind of stumble, fall, slide forward, and look up.
No, I didn't realize we were moving actually. So if we're moving, I think what I might do is.
And I mean, you can wait till nightfall and not be moving.
I was gonna say all right, yeah. Does he have it like how much would he sell in? Like I don't want to leave him hanging here. I want to get in his good graces. So what would it cost to buy like a yard or two or whatever?
I would say he could. How much were you looking like? Were you looking like a pocket handkerchief size? Like 8-inch by 8-inch, or were you looking for a bolt, or what were you looking to do?
I'm gonna get my mom, who's dead. But in my head, a blue. I'm gonna tell him. I'm hoping to get like a new shirt for when I perform. Because I hear like there's this performer Nail Diamond. And he wears sparkly shirts so that people can see him on stage. And I was thinking that might be, if he does the sparkle, I can do like the shiny silk. So,
so you're gonna need enough to really, make a full outfit is what you're looking for.
I don't want to be stingy.
Sure. So we'll say half of whatever fine clothes costs is what basically I'm looking for. And just a second while I get that. Clothes fine are 15 gold pieces, so he'll sell it to you. You're on the road. I'll give you 7. So 7 gold, and it would be basically 1 bolt's worth, 1 outfit's worth of silk. Sorry, one outfit's worth of silk.
Okay. Yeah. So I still want to be able to fold this up and shove it in the backpack. Yeah. All right. Yeah, done. I bought it.
So so he gets a couple of things off the side of his cart and brings it over, and he kind of puts a little wedge in on either side, and then he takes what looks like a bellows, for a fire starting, and he sort of goes woof, 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 real fast, and it creates a little bit of an air gap, and then he goes and pulls the silk out. But as he does, like, the silk starts to come, and then you just hear this ripping noise. And then as it continues coming out, it's just shreds and tatters, and you can see worms and other things falling off of it. And as he's looking at it, you just watch his face break, like from his top of his hair, eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth. It just all shatters as he realizes he doesn't have a wagon load of silk. He has a wagon load of rotten silks that are moth-eaten and nasty. And you just see him start clawing at it, and just rot and debris tears away.
Do you need any help? Can I help you? This looks bad.
And he's just looking at you. I'm ruined. I can't believe it. And he starts digging in, and you can see there's maybe 3 or 4 inches around the edges that is salvageable, but there must have been water and bugs in there, and this whole ride they've just been destroying what was in there. I can't. And he's just sort of like stumbling along after the cart as it moves.
What will you do? Will you still go on to Waterdeep?
I suppose so. Maybe there's some I don't know.
Well, here, man. Here's 10, and I'll give him 3 more.
He sort of like takes it and looks at it. He's like,
I know it's not enough, but
and he pockets it and he's like, wait, I can get you enough for your mother at least. And he peels back and he starts cutting away, and it's little strips basically, little 3 and 4 inch strips, yeah. But it's silk, and he gives you much more than you paid for, but it's in little ribbons rather than in whole cloths. You can hear a whisper running down the back of the caravan as the people behind you see this and start, oh my, he's done.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. But please let me know if there's anything I can do. I'll just give him a little inspiration and keep your chin up, and then I'll walk away.
Yeah, he's basically lost it at this point. I mean, he's digging out handfuls and just throwing it off to the side of the road, trying to recover anything, but
I noticed nothing that led me to believe he's got, other than the fact that something got in the middle of the cart.
No, he's you can see him continuing to empty the cart. There's nothing really of value left. Little scraps of silk that he's trying to salvage, but he lost a fortune.
Perhaps it would be best for him to head back to Dragonspear.
That's what I was trying to ascertain by asking if he was going to go to Waterdeep still, but I don't know. Are we closer to Dragonspear or Waterdeep at this point?
Much closer to Dragonspear. It'd be a much shorter trip back than forward.
I mean, I'd just encourage him quickly that, hey, maybe you want to head back. This is a dangerous road for not any money, man.
Sure. Give me a quick persuasion check there.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're...
Oh, yeah.
You're like, look, and he's obviously just broken at this point, and you just talk him around to what you want to do. He's like, thank you, I appreciate, I'm obviously not thinking clearly. Thanks for being a clear head on this. And almost immediately he turns around and starts heading back, and you hear a couple of razzes from the rest of the folk. They're a little bit more mean-spirited, and one of them calls out, "That's what you get for hanging out with Sommerdag."
Man, someday that could be you. You're not cool, man. You're not cool. Just keep walking.
As Rob's getting back to us, I'm gonna try to get the group together.
Mm-hmm.
Say we could use that as an opportunity to escort him back.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
We want to go to Waterdeep eventually, but we would only lose 1 day if we were to escort him back to Dragonspear, and we'd be well enough behind
to heed our warnings.
He has a couple of horses. Maybe we could arrange our own transportation to catch up to the caravan, but after the attack.
He might take that offer too, since it'll help him recover a very small fraction of what he lost. So it might be a convincing offer to give.
I mean, he seems to be on the up and up. He might be a reliable source to maybe see who else maybe we could kind of get out of here safely.
That is true.
He's he's associated mostly though with that guy we were on the first leg of the journey with, like to me. But it
Yes,
couldn't hurt to
He'd
poke
had
around.
previous dealings with him.
But he thought he was bad luck, right?
He did. Who?
He was not wrong.
Can we figure out who was specifically calling out? Who was commenting on hanging out with
Yeah.
Summerdog? Who was aware of Summerdog's luck?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check or something along those lines.
No, I don't see anything.
Nah. By the time you heard that the insult happened, you started looking around. Just didn't see who it was.
I haven't been engrossed in my wood carving.
Do
And-
your wood carving too.
Yeah, Enrin, same set.
Are we able to roll to see?
At this point,
or-
I think it's you've
I was gonna say,
established.
yeah.
They've established that it was a quick little haha, and you didn't identify the Nelson.
I would like to see if I could talk to Elkin and see if she would be willing to come back with us. And I might learn something just through that conversation.
Sure. So Elkin's taken on with Luelle, the elven woman who's transporting the exotic woods from Chult. Elkin is, basically marching alongside, checking the left, checking the right, patrolling around, wash, rinse, repeat. And as you come up, hey.
It's nice to see that you've come with us as well. We weren't really sure if we were going to make this.
I did hear a little bit of trouble come up.
Yeah, that is definitely true. It was a little bit of trouble. I had more trouble with the interesting things we saw along the way as we were on our way to Dragonspear. Just the hazards of the road.
Oh, you did run afoul of some odd beasties. I've never heard of intellect devourers this close to the road. From what I understand, they're Underdark things.
That is what I understand of them too. So it was clear though that they had been there for some time. It would be hard to transport an entire giant head to create that kind of a strange trap. But
Though I've seen that, I've heard of that sight, the skeleton by the road, before, but never the brains that went along with it.
well, it didn't look like a lot of people came out of there that could have told you either, given the bones that we found. I wanted to ask you, Werther's had a bit of trouble. I see you probably have seen that.
And she's looks back over her shoulder. From what I hear, rot in his goods?
Yeah. Has he had that kind of trouble before?
Werther, not that I'm aware of, but I don't think he inspects his goods as carefully as he ought. You should never trust someone else with your own goods. It's like trusting someone else to sharpen your sword. And she launches into a little bit of advice about, always make sure you tie your own boots, always make sure you buckle your own belt, always make sure, you inspect your own goods.
Checking. I buckled my own belt, yes. So we were thinking, he's been good to us. It's very hard to see him be this distraught. We have our own reasons for going to Waterdeep, but they're not urgent. And I'd enjoy your company if you would be willing to come with us to take him back, at least back to Daggerford, and then we can go ahead.
And she's sort of marching along, and she gives a little laugh, like, well, I'm commissioned on to Waterdeep. And she gestures up to the Elven woman ahead, Luell. I go where she goes.
Okay, well, yeah, I can understand that as well. We actually are displaying the same kinds of loyalty, but it seems to be leading us in two different directions. Listen, I'm worried. You're right. We have trouble. I'd hate to see you get into trouble. So, things are just strange on this road.
Eldkin just sort of nods in agreement to that one. Well, we passed through many lands. You'll see some strange sights, but when you've been up and down it a few times like I have, you get used to the change.
Speaking of up and down this road a few times, you've said that before. And I know that there are troubles every single time you go. Is there any way other than hiring guards just like you and me, that people protect themselves? Because I noticed that some people seem to be slightly less concerned and not nearly well guarded.
And she sort of like gives you a bit of an odd look, and well, it depends on what you have to guard. If you're just walking along your own, if you're brave enough to face what might come for you, or if you're on a fast horse, messengers don't hire guards, they just ride fast. And if I was walking the road, I'd like company, but I don't know that I would need it. I don't carry enough to make myself worthwhile to anything that's not going to eat me. And we don't see too many owlbears.
Did see intellect of ours, though. I'd hate to see you run afoul of something like that. It's just, I'm learning a lot. Things that I hadn't even thought to ask. You've pointed out so many things to me, and other people have also said things that have made me ask questions as well. One of those questions has to do, what is this concept of insurance?
Insurance?
Insurance.
It's a bit like assurance, except you pay interest on it. And she gives you a little breakdown of what insurance is, as far as you pay money so things don't go wrong. It seems like she's probably spent some time in Mirabar, where the dwarven banking is, because she lays out a pretty good explanation of the concept.
Involves entrance, I take it. Okay, so with that, then I'm going to urge her. Please. I believe we're going to go ahead and take Werther back. And for the same reason that we're going to take Werther back, because I feel very bad about this trip at this point. If you see anything, I don't know. I don't think your life is worth a cart of wood. Not even wood from Schult.
So
You've been a good friend.
Give me a persuasion on that one. I'm going to say at disadvantage, because I haven't heard anything that really bites into her mentality, other than someone she gets along with is saying they have a bad feeling, which is legitimately a concern in D&D when foretelling's importance are, all over the place. But you haven't struck a chord with her yet. So a persuasion at disadvantage, please.
Be very hard.
The 3, she sort of like, she says, I understand, the traveling life isn't for everybody. Is this the furthest you've been from your forest? She kind of, a little bit of, the dwarven undertone gets in there. You take the elf out of the forest and they start to panic. It's okay. Go back and play in your dappled, sun-dappled areas. But she takes it under advisement to keep an eye out, but doesn't look like she's turning back.
Well, I don't know. It just seems odd that all of his things would fall apart. You didn't even notice that there was no trouble with the cart. And there it was.
Well, it was a properly done up cart, but it looks like they forgot to inspect it beforehand. And, when you saw the tarps that he was undoing, it was tarped up well. they must have been damp and bug infested before they were being loaded. Before they were loaded.
Yes. Well, he didn't check. He didn't check the tarp. He didn't open it up. He didn't wrap his own goods. He didn't stop and check along the way multiple times to make sure he'd actually gotten what he paid for. So I see your point.
And
Well,
as you say, Elkin's like, and that's one of the things I appreciate about Luelle up there. We've been through hers several times, and I'm sure I'm going to be through it again now that she's seen that there was insects on a nearby cart. Make sure everything's good. You know, dust.
no dust, no flaws, no nothing.
Nope.
You must not see that very often.
Very rare.
Okay, well, I'm going to wish you good luck. I hope we catch back up with you because we are going to go back to Waterdeep. So I hope to see you on the road again.
Sounds
and
good.
that's about as much persuading as I can get out because persuasion is not what I do.
Got it. So Eldkin breaks away, goes over to help Luelle, and yes, Luelle does unpack, repack everything, checking for bugs, checking for insects. They're throwing some sort of powder on the wood as they do it, and then they stack it back up again. Any of you that have insecting backgrounds, might represent,
Diatomaceous earth.
Exactly, diatomaceous earth. So they're throwing that around just to make sure everything's good, and then it's all repacked and bundled up.
I think she's making a great job of it.
Yeah.
And I can see why they're staying together. Hopefully they'll pay attention when something bad happens.
That's it. So Werther's kind of turned around. It took a little while, 48-point turn with the cart and horses, and now is heading back south. And you are heading away south with Werther as well?
Do we think that is a good plan?
How do you feel about it? I know that you had contracted with Werther, but I also know that you were worried about the
I was
people.
not contracted with him specifically. He put in a good word to get us our position, but we are contracted to the caravan.
So how do you feel about it?
I don't know. I'm concerned. I'm glad to know that my gut was not wrong about him, but I don't know who else it has been wrong about.
But do you think he'll make it back without some escort?
Well, have you relayed what your conversation with Eldkin?
Yes.
Yeah.
As Eldkin says, he has nothing of value. If someone attacks, he can let them have it. I think that escorting him back gives us a good reason to be gone for a short time.
We don't
Gives us a good reason to be a little behind the caravan.
It does.
Then
We don't-
perhaps we can catch up and help those who were not so foul of this group to pick up the pieces.
So while we're saying that, Werther is still around, right? We could still maybe get a chance to speak with him.
Yeah, he's made his turn and he's gonna start heading away, but he's got a lot of caravan to pass.
All right. If I can, maybe I'd go up to him and say, "Hey, and he'd say, I heard what happened. That's too bad."
And he just sort of looks over to you and he's like, "Yes.
I'm really sorry.
Perhaps in Dragon Spear I will find my luck again."
Sometimes, believe it or not, I'd say I would consider you quite lucky, actually.
And it's just sort of like, how so?
Well, he's gonna go ahead and if he can, he'd kind of motion to see if he could kind of hop on with him, or while he's kind of getting things around.
He's given up. He's basically dumped all the rot out. There's a couple of little scraps that he's trying to save, but the wagon's basically empty, and there's a pile of mess strewn about off to the side of the road. So there's plenty of room for you in it.
Mm-hmm. He'd jump in and he'd kind of say, as he's I would assume we're kind of going the opposite way of the caravan at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna look to the rest of the group real quick, and he's gonna just kind of motion that he's gonna talk to him, and possibly maybe talk to him about what's going on as we get. He's gonna kind of wait till, if he can, he's gonna wait till he gets a little further down the road before he begins to really talk. But once they get down there, if that's okay, he's gonna kind of say, as kind of like the end of the caravan passes, he's gonna say,
well, I'm sure you're well aware that we've had a bit of trouble ourselves along this way.
Oh, what trouble?
Okay, maybe not. Well, I don't know. I'm just surprised. It's all. Everyone. I don't know. Posters are around and everything. Either way, pretty much. I'm gonna be kind of straightforward with you. I mean, I honestly, we've been me and my group have been under attack quite a bit, actually.
My fortune is ruined, and now I find that I am being accompanied by those who are under attack.
I mean, not currently, but the thing is that the thing is that, I mean, to be fair,
as they get further away,
you're kind of headed in the right direction here. I'm gonna need a list.
He's like, what? Pardon?
I'm gonna need a list of you travel these parts often with caravans. You familiar with these people?
Most of my business is to the south, but I've met some of them on the road. Huzzah!
Okay. Any of these people you feel to be fair, I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels like we've been traveling with a bit of dragon cultists. I'm gonna give it to you straight out. They're trying to attack us. Well, we've been attacked in taverns multiple times, and there seems to be an attack coming on this caravan up ahead. You're headed in the right direction, sir.
Can I have some sort of charisma check to spin this in a positive fashion? Because I did not hear any good news.
It's not, but I mean, the good news is that he's headed in the right direction.
He's going away from the trouble.
I mean, I guess that's kind of good news.
Yeah. Look on the bright
Less
side.
likely to lose all of his silk and his life by not being there when it's overrun by Zentarim.
It's like a charisma, persuasion, something.
While I tell him this, if it's okay, I'm gonna be kind of trying to do my best to guide myself. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. I'm not even gonna roll.
You gotta tell me your people's lives are in danger.
Let me wait. I got some yarn and some
Listen to
pins.
me.
I'm going to show you how it all connects.
Yeah,
You're
so
only hope.
he's trying to hold it together. But between the lack of facial expression, the occasional one you draw on, he can't gather that, trying to go happy news, sad news. So that's problem one. Problem two is you're like, don't worry, you're very lucky. You just lost your fortune. I'm going to be hanging out with you. I'm being targeted by bad people. But don't worry, the rest of the caravan's going to die too. And he's just like, I can't handle this end of the world crap anymore. Like, he's like,
Welcome
I'm just,
to 2020, Werther.
yeah. It's like, when I get to Dragon Sphere, I'm just going to dedicate myself to Tamora, and maybe this bad luck will go away eventually. And he's like, look, whatever you want, just
Okay, I'm
take
going.
it. Just take it.
Goodbye.
You got it.
Well, okay. Remember, you're lucky. You're good. You're gonna be okay.
I think
You're
that's
gonna
coming
be
across
okay.
way more threat than anything else. Like,
You're
remember,
lucky right now.
you're lucky.
You keep on going in that direction.
You keep running.
If
You're
you
gonna
know
be
what's good for
okay.
you.
He's just like,
I'm gonna
I
get.
got
You
nothing
know, I
left.
used to wear faces of people.
Yes.
Back in the day. But I'm not a.
Chiquito just went full robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep, shouldn't have told you that. Sorry.
Yeah, so Werther has lost his fortune and his mind, basically, in the last 15 to 20 minutes, and he's just trying to head south, following the directions of Rob Oaks. You know, get back to Dragon Spear. They've got a lot of opportunities. You can remake yourself there, but he's a little broken. What are the rest of you up to? Because we're reaching the point where I need a decision: north with the caravan, or turn and head south with Werther, or break
Or
out on
something
your
else.
own.
What do you think? It seems perhaps we should warn Adelry.
The first thing that we did together, the very first thing is follow a caravan, harass the crap out of them, and find out what was going on. Why can't we do the same thing? Except for not harassing the crap out of them, but still finding out what's going on.
We could also harass the harassers. I mean,
Mm.
if we needed
Find
to.
out a lot more if we follow them, but just not be part of them.
Kind of think maybe
I'm
we
sorry,
make a break.
I think perhaps I am not following. Who is who in this story?
So the who? Yes.
I believe what you're trying to say is the direct approaches we are taking are not working. Take the similar approaches that we did with the
Cyanrath's
with
group?
Yeah, I was like, do I say that out loud? I'm sure it's quiet enough that it's just between us, but I was just like, it took me a second. I was like, do I say that? But what I believe you're saying is we employ similar techniques we used with Cyanrath's group, where we are a bit more hidden back, a little stealth and maybe invisibility, peeking around and poking around the carts.
Strengths. Yes.
I have an idea that could make us a little behind, but not leave the caravan.
Okay.
And we could implement this plan. Can any of you think of a way that you could disable the wood cart, the cart with the Edelry Luel, the elven cart, such that it would
Disable.
need repairs?
So devious.
Because we have just
Yep.
seen it unloaded and reloaded. We know that she is not carrying anything but the wood she is selling. We know that she is not one of these cultists. So,
I think maybe I could just hang back, turn to a horse, run up, kick it, and run away.
I
That
could.
might work.
That might
I
not
mean,
work.
honestly, what are they gonna just say? Is I came up and kicked my wagon. It's not like it's like anything. It's not like it's this crazy. And I just think it might work.
I was going to suggest I could set the axle on fire, but they're selling wood, so maybe not my
Wood-
best idea.
it would not be great to ruin the fortunes of another merchant.
Yeah, no, I thought about that slightly
But-
after.
A broken axle or something could cause them
Yep.
to have to stop, and we could hang back to help repair it, and also perhaps lose some time and let the caravan go ahead. And then, after the attack, we can help pick up the pieces and we can implement our approach to a caravan.
For the wood cart, the way that it's set up,
Mhm.
from what I understood, it was like they've got like the pieces of wood all laid out, and then it's like tied down with kind of like that.
Yep. So basically, if you
So-
imagine, imagine your flatbed wagon style, 2 axles. The wood is laid down in the bed of the wagon, basically stacked flat with little air gaps in between it, and then there's a floor, and then there's her travel stuff on top of that. So heavy wood down on the bottom, a floor, and then bedding, all that other stuff, food, water, up top.
Okay.
And it is a fairly heavy cart. I mean, it's carrying a lot of wood, not something fairly light, but it's a pretty sturdy, sizable cart. Horses are very well taken care of. They're nice and big. She talks to them, but she doesn't seem to understand them.
So we could talk to the horses and even make this even more exciting.
I was trying to think maybe I can do something with a mage hand, because I have that, do something from a distance, but the cart might be too...
I have
Birdie.
repaired carts like these before, and I worked on a Sammerdag's cart. Do I know if there's like a pin that holds a wheel on or something that could be removed that could... Suppose there's the pin that holds the horses to the cart.
There's the pin that holds the horses to the cart. If that were to work its way out somehow, that would, result probably in somebody being pulled into the mud, no real permanent damage. To really cause something that would be a hassle, you would probably need to get wood to break, or, really jam up. And these are really designed not to have that happen. I don't know the mechanics of them well enough to describe accurately what it would be, but I'm willing to say, okay, you can come up with some idea like that, and then we'll talk about some skill checks to figure out what that is, which is something along the lines of, saw through the way the axle is held so that it springs the wrong way after a good bump, and then the whole weight of the cart crashes down and snaps a thing, whatever the real version of that is. So yeah, you could structure it, but it would take a little bit of doing and a few skill checks to make it, 1, happen, 2, not be obvious that it was sabotage.
I'm liking the horse idea more and more.
See, it's simple. Get mad at a horse. I'm just a horse.
And Yaz, you can talk to other animals besides
Yes.
Chiquito.
I have the speak of the beast. I can speak to animals of all kinds.
I have no way to help with this.
I mean, you could kind of tell me maybe where I should be aiming before I do it.
I could, yes, that I do have knowledge of the way these carts go together, having repaired them.
Would...
I mean, I know a bit about wood and whatnot and how it flexes and stuff, but nothing about a cart. So maybe you just tell me,
and maybe we kind of go into that a bit.
Okay. So I guess as far as a skill check, I could do maybe a land vehicle's proficiency with intelligence.
Sure.
To be able to describe how that axle mechanism functions, so I could describe if a force trauma here could cause a breakage that would break an axle.
Okay. So I think what I'm
designed
hearing
to take
is
force from this way, not this way. So.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is we've got a show giving some insight onto the cart structure, where an impact would be bad. We've got Chiquito coming up to apply some blunt force trauma as a horse. We've got Anrin and Yaz possibly communicating with the horses that are pulling the wagon, so that as Rogue Horse runs up and kicks, they, do something so that it jerks the wrong way, or they, rear, fake a lame leg, something along those lines, and that kind of all comes together to be maybe even, yank real hard and you manage to tip the cart on its side, and now all the wood spills out and it's going to take a day to reload. Something along that structure. Rob Oakes, any thoughts on additional stuff or acting as support as needed on the fly?
2 ways I can go, I figure. I can inspire my friends,
Okay.
or I can distract people from paying attention to any of this by dancing.
Honestly, I think that would be very fun.
Or singing. You know, I do both.
Both.
It's gonna do a
no
little
los dos.
Mr. Bojangles. He jumps so high. And click.
Yes.
So, let's start off with the distraction. Let's kind of start there. And here's what I'm thinking the distraction is going to be gearing towards. You're going
Alright.
to probably want to like select entertainments that will draw certain people here, offend certain people there. So you're shuffling Llewellyn towards the back of the caravan. You're trying to get Llewellyn's cart isolated based on, who you're appealing to, who you're not.
All right.
As well as just general Bojangly distraction. So how about that roll for Bojangly distraction?
All right.
You never thought
Dog up and die. Oh. What am I just doing performance?
Sure. Okay.
Not my best. Not my best.
Not your best, but it's
Not too
in the positive range. So now I think our next one is going to be probably cart targeting. So how about show with the Yep.
As he's doing that, I'm gonna kind of go, reach up, put my hands on shoulders on show, and go, okay. Now, before you explain this to me, I want you to clear your mind, take a deep breath in and out, and really go ahead and get into boop. All right, go ahead.
This is a sturdy cart, and you're describing the best places to hit it, but there really is no real good place for a horse to kick, a cart this sturdy. It's all gonna have to come together. So now let's talk about that horse whispering that went on. So for Llewell's horses, Anrin and Yaz. Do you each want to make an attempt, or do you want to provide assistance one to the other?
I want to assist Yaz.
Okay, so Yaz, can I see the animal handling with advantage?
Okay. Could I intimidate the horses into listening?
Yes. I mean,
I'm gonna eat you.
exactly.
I'm gonna get you. I'll get
If you
you.
don't do this, people are going to get hurt. People you love.
You don't love people.
Like, look, normally I'm not an ankle biter, but for you I make an exception.
Yeah.
Do you know how they make glue?
Oh, I won't stand for it. The horses
No.
have done nothing.
Yaz is like, I
I'll
have
just blast.
brushes made of you in my disguise kit. So how about that intimidation?
All right, because
Tito
that'll
is wearing
work
your hair as
way
a
better.
beard.
Oh, that is pretty good. So that is solidly
Intimidated.
on the win
Hair as a
side.
beard.
If you want your handlers to live, you listen now. You listen good.
So Rob's doing a pretty good job of getting the cart isolated. Show's kind of given. There's no real good spot, so no advantage there. But Yaz has it so that when this goes down, those horses are going to jump the way you want them to jump. So Chiquito, I still do need to see a decent success on an attack as a horse.
Right.
So did I give you a horse yet?
I've been a horse before. I don't know if I'm gonna go ahead and do that whole war horse thing, because if I do, then it's gonna be like, what is a war horse doing walking up here? But I mean, it's a horse. War horse is.
It's a big wild horse.
Yep.
Big-
Super.
It's a horse.
Screaming as a horse scream.
War horse superpower.
War horse
I
superpower.
got
You should
one
now have a war
horsepower.
horse sheet.
Okay. All right, guys. I'll be back in a bit.
Hey.
Brump, 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 brump.
Chiquito, you don't breathe, but take a deep breath. You've got this.
I'm just imagining the hoof coming up and going.
Okay, here we go.
Boom.
I'm just.
I know he
gonna-
can't do it
Um,
yet, but
Hoof attack.
Hoof attack. That is a 16. A 16 is pretty good. And that was 14 points of bludgeoning damage. You did say you were going to run up.
I was. Yeah, sure.
So you
Move
rush
my tail
up.
back and forth.
You hoof smash. The cart lurches. Both of the horses, as prompted, kind of jump and lean to the side, so all the weight's suddenly going in one direction, and wha-bang! Everything sort of spills out of the cart. Luelle is screaming as she's thrown from the cart and falls. And lands really, really badly. She looks like she probably twisted something as she
I
came
will
down.
run up to her to help her up.
Now, Warhorse, Chiquito, what are you doing after your dramatic attack?
Did it look like the axle fell all the way down?
So the whole cart's on its side. Everything spilled out. Both the horses fell over. She got thrown out. The horses, the
Disengage.
warhorse is laughing.
Disengage. I'm running back.
Okay. Could I have a stealth or a deception or a performance to make this look like not
Give us a
horse
horse.
giggling at the fact that it just knocked someone over?
It was more of a.
Yeah, again, that's not a normal horse reaction.
what's a weird horse?
Unless you say Frau Blucher.
Frau Blucher. Oh no.
So I'm doing either. Oh, am I here? Am I
You're
okay?
here now. You're good now.
All right. I'm doing a. What did you say? A charisma, deception, or a?
So something to convince them that you are a stray warhorse that just did this because you are wild
Angry.
stallion and must run free. I'm not
Wild
sure.
Stallions.
stallions.
Oh,
Probably
be
not
excellent
insight.
to
I would
each
say it's not
other.
insight.
No.
Well, insight.
Oh, insight to,
Yeah. Survival. I guess I'll do a persuasion. I guess is that okay?
Yeah, so you're like running up, handing out, free the horses pamphlets,
We gotta be free. Be free like me. Bird. Bird.
But a 7 is a lucky number.
A 7 is a lucky number. So we're gonna roll
It's a
two
bad
d20s here, and see if the folks that have witnessed this believe that this is just a normal horse. And goodness gracious, they do. So
Stop right now.
3 and a 2.
I back up slowly with.
Jinkies.
Disengage.
He
And you're-
runs off on 2 legs.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
I do not. I do not do that, Casey. Please, no. I
It
do
probably
not.
would have helped your persuasion check if the horse wasn't wearing Chiquito's fake beard.
Might have also-
Yeah, and the beanie still, right?
Yeah.
Right.
might have aided in the whole illusion there. But yes, you do manage to stop the wagon. You've toppled it. You've gotten away. The folks that did notice are like, that is crazy, but not the craziest thing that we've seen. The caravan master comes over, works the way back down. They're like, can you continue? Now, at this point, they're part of the caravan. They've paid to, stay in. So the caravan should stop and help them right the wagon, get back on. They don't leave someone behind. What's the party doing to convince them that, it's okay, we got it, move on? Or how's that happening that, because at this point, everybody will come back, they'll write it, and they'll get them piled back on, maybe not the way that they want them to.
I will tell them to move along. There's nothing to see here, because that always works.
Sure.
That or make a hole.
Okay, I mean there are 5 of you, so you could move along. You could say, we'll take care of it, and that's maybe a little sus, to use the cool phrasing of the day.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yo.
Would I be able to do
Yo.
a deception and say like that twist the twist looked pretty bad? We should keep them still for some time while we write ourselves up. Go along ahead. We'll make sure they find no trouble on the way back.
Okay. Gotcha.
That could work.
So, I don't think Luelle's gonna want to stay behind at this point. She's hurt. She's in pain. But she wants to get to Waterdeep, and she paid to be in this caravan. So she'll want to continue on. Is there anything you're doing to convince/silence her specifically?
I'm going to try something. And so I'm going to hope, trying to find something I could use that would be actually sounding like Elvin, but not having any luck. So I'm going to go over and take a look at her too. And while I am doing that, I am going to say to her, in what I'm looking at her, I'm thinking she's probably going to understand this. The most archaic, highest Elven I possibly can use. That we've done this to protect her and to protect her guard, because some bad things are about to happen to this caravan, and I couldn't convince the guard to listen.
Okay. So I think that's going to fall on the persuasion side. And that sounds
Can
like
we do
persuasion to
something
me.
else?
I mean, boy, that sounded like persuasion to me. What did you think it sounded like?
Insight.
Well, here's the argument I'm going to make, and you're not going to like it, but this is a couple of things. One, it's my danger sense, okay, and she would probably know that I, she would understand that I've got that. Two, it's fellow feeling. So I'm really going to use all the insight I have into her character that I developed in my conversation with her to push the buttons I know that are there to push.
Okay.
Which is different than persuasion.
Okay.
Whew. Hopefully it'll make a difference.
So I'll give it to you as a twofer. I will let you try the insight to set up for advantage on a persuasion, intimidation, or something along those lines. So you can prey upon the weaknesses, the fears, and the strengths. So go ahead and give yourself the setup, and hopefully that'll work out.
Here's hoping.
Okay. So going into with advantage, I need something to convince her to stay. Something, an active something. So persuasion, intimidation, deception, even though I think you're being fairly honest, so maybe not deception.
Persuasion or deception, but intimidation she's got some sense of. And the intimidation, though, is the same kind of intimidation. It's not trying to convince her that we're going to harm her.
Mhm.
But the intimidation is along the lines of if you don't cooperate with this effort, you will lose your life. Period.
Got it.
Really, that okay? Okay. So this is with
With advantage.
Oh,
I double clicked
Pretty good.
because I was so nervous.
But
Sorry.
you
That's
clicked perception, so you mistargeted. So how about the persuasion?
You failed your
Dang it.
I kept trying.
This is-
Ah!
So nervous with perception.
And I did it again. See?
the
Yeah.
5 and the 8. Okay. So you go to convince her. You start talking to
I
it
thought
about
you were
her.
gonna do intimidation. I thought the whole
Oh, yeah,
build-up
wait,
was you were gonna do
intimidation.
intimidation.
Yeah, me too. That's what I heard. I heard insight.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
This one I
intimidation.
won't double click.
Okay, intimidation.
Totally worth it.
We got a +1.
That was just your perception.
Hey.
We're
I'm
coming to
sorry.
it.
I was so excited
Same
about that.
Ah!
Oh, wait, yeah, deception.
So no, Luell, you try to convince her. You figure out what makes her tick, but she just sort of rises to the challenge of it. Like when you're like, and there's cultists and dragons, she's like, that's why I'm here. That's why I left Chult. I got tired of giant lizards. I needed something exciting. And
So-
she's like, yeah, like teeth like this. Bring it on.
So while it looks like she's gonna want to get moving,
Mhm.
I'm gonna help right the wagon, and I'm gonna try to break the axle in the process.
Okay. So go ahead and give me the land vehicles or just a straight up attack roll to try and do a little less suspicious
So
damage.
like as I right the wagon, I'm gonna bring it down harder than it ought to.
While that is happening, could Yaz be like just talking to her like off to the side away so she's not so they're not looking at the cart, and just be like, are you sure you're okay? Like that was a really bad twist, and like, are you sure you want to do that? And do deception.
Okay. So
Or, like,
so give me
like
a
a
cart
protection.
break attempt. So let's see if even this
So
is.
what check do you want?
I would say either your land vehicles check to do it the wrong way, like to do it the way they tell you never to do it.
Okay.
Or just in a straight up attack roll if you're just gonna like stand behind it and like backhand swing your maul.
Yay!
Okay.
Remember, Stroll, this is how you do not ride a wagon.
This is how you break the axle, right?
Yes, this is exactly what you're not supposed to do. So what you want to do is lock your knees, bend over, lift with your back, except do this in axle form. So yeah, things just go wrong, and the horses are very jumpy, so they're pulling and jerking, and things are just all sorts of snared. And as all this is going on, as you're getting ready to kind of bust it up, Yaz, can I see a deception?
You got it. Please work.
Yeah.
Yay!
There we go.
All right. So Yaz gets in there, starts talking as well, and Luell just kind of is like from one of you to the next, to the next, to the next, and then she starts hearing the wood creaking, and she's like, all right. Okay. I'll stay. Please don't break my wagon.
It is already broken, but we'll help you
Well,
fix it.
you've damaged it, but it's not broke yet. And she's like, I'm gonna tell you, all I'm carrying is wood right now. So if you're after gold, I'm not carrying any, and you're probably not gonna get rich as bandits with wood. So, and she just sort of like.
No, we will help you get cut back up to the caravan.
She waves, the rest of the caravan folk on. She waves the caravan master off, but she's not real happy about this situation. She's kind of a captive, of the five of you at the moment. And
Chiquito would eventually come.
Oh, what happened, guys?
yeah,
Come running up.
still wearing the same straw
was
hat that the
dumbest thing.
warhorse was wearing. So a day or so passes, and Llewell's ankle starts to swelling, goes down, and Eldkin the dwarf is hanging out with you. How long are you planning on keeping them here?
I think we want them to be at least a day behind the caravan, right?
Okay.
Is that everyone else's understanding?
I think
I'm
that's what
thinking.
we were told.
Yeah.
So we'll give it a day, and then during the day, I'll work on repairing the wagon and
Sure.
take my time with that.
You got it. And you get everything righted and everything squared away. And can I have a fateful D20 for the party? You would like to roll high, not low.
Not touch.
Eventually somebody's gotta. Okay, 7 and 9.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
You know what? I think
7 of 9.
something went wrong there. I think we should do a Chiquita.
Yeah, that's not any better.
It's okay. 7 is high enough that catastrophe does not follow.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do our 5-minute-ish break. Grab drinks, empty things, and then we will pick up from there for the next half of our event.
Good job, everybody. That was
All
failing
right.
forward.
Really
Did
good.
it? I know
It was.
it felt that way, didn't it?
Yes.
It just kept on running down the hill.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't enough failures in a row to be a disaster. That was the
Yeah.
important thing. You found
We started-
other things to do.
Ultimately,
This is
all
the
I thought
norm.
was I'm just
This is
gonna
the norm,
have to
though.
drink it.
This is the norm. Yeah.
we started to tumble, but we caught ourselves in the end. Like, it was okay.
Hey, just run faster than the fall, and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
At least I broke the
yeah,
axle,
great.
not her ankle.
I don't know what you guys are
Yeah.
talking about. I was
Well,
amazing.
Sorry
You
about
were.
that. Probably should just talk to you first. No, never mind. We did it.
But Yaz, from this point on, I'm going to teach you High Elven so that you can persuade anybody who needs to
Yes,
be
please.
persuaded.
I need to know languages.
Yes.
I only speak Common and Draconic. I need to learn things. I'm not smart. I'm going to tell you that now, Enrin. I'm not smart. Don't tell,
Well,
the,
I
don't,
would
don't
say
tell
it
the
is-
others.
It is very lucky, yes, that we even share a language.
Yes.
I guess so, huh?
It
Thank
certainly
God for
is.
common.
Don't tell the others. I'm not smart. And he says that out loud so everyone can hear.
But you were saying it in Draconic, which I didn't understand.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's okay.
It's okay. I should pick a voice, a voice for a Draconic where he's like, "Oh yes," and from here on out, like something really stupid.
Yeah, like I would do with Jarl when he was
Yeah.
with his. Oh, hello. How are you?
Hello.
Jarl.
Well, when you're speaking your own language, it always sounds nice and clear and crisp.
Yeah.
So I'm coming
Jarl.
back on the 20th. I have no idea what I'm walking into other than the fact that apparently we're inside some.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for you to be back. It should be fun.
Find out. Oh man. And it's going to be very hard not to use Yaz's voice for Rurik because they have the same.
I find that it comes up sometimes, like when I'm trying to think, and then I'm like, I don't know. And if I say I don't know out loud, I'm like, I don't know.
It's a very
just blessed.
yes, very well done.
Quite proud, quite proud. Okay, I'm gonna refill on water, and I'll be right back.
Sounds like a good idea. I'm going to go take all of my food down. That was so much fun to actually pretend to eat your pudding, your porridge.
You're like, no.
No, yeah, it was really good though. Anyway, so I'll see you in a bit.
Folks should be able to hear us
That was
now.
hilarious.
Hilarious.
Wow, it really stinks the audience missed that.
Aw. And that's the meaning of life. But welcome back. We are streaming on 20 Sides to Every Story. We're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we are working our way through Tyranny of Dragons. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on next week for Extra Life, so do please feel free to. I do want to become famous. Thank you, Skyly99900, bigfollows.com. Woo! No, not that. Sorry. Anyway, I got distracted. So do please join us in Discord, hop in, play some games. We've got a couple of spots open for next week's Extra Life charity games, and we fairly frequently have new games starting up, whether they're one-shots, stuff that's spun off of community games, or some of the conventions that we kind of play virtually, and stuff. So there you go. But the party has managed to keep 2 members of the caravan back. Not entirely against their will, but there was some coercion into it. They are staying a day and a half travel back from the caravan. They can kind of tell by the shadows and the wagon dust up ahead. And, if they get a little closer, they back off. If they speed up, they speed up. And you're kind of moving along. There's other traffic coming from north to south, so you're able to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. Could I have, from whoever is going to be in charge of reading the road sign, checking the trail, monitoring the distance, that sort of thing, a survival check?
Not for me.
That
Okay.
doesn't feel like a top thing.
Anrin has stepped up to cover that. And you're doing a pretty good job maintaining that day and a half. And it's been about 2 days worth of travel. You're pretty well into the space between the split in the Trollbark Forest. And this is when you were hinted at there would be problems. So you're kind of expecting that trouble in and around now. But about noontime, you've been continuing on. No signs of a fight up ahead. They were just a little sluggish getting off the mark this morning. And you come up to what is unmistakably a fresh dug grave. 6.5 feet by 2.5 to 3 feet, and you would guess probably 4 to 5 feet deep. Freshly turned earth with that, layout that says there's probably a body here. Anything you all want to do about that?
Get up.
Is anyone suddenly hungry?
Who that was?
Sorry, that wasn't appropriate.
And yet still takes a bite.
Yep. Oh, it's
Well-
jerky.
He was a jerky.
So yes, I personally would want to dig it up, and do we have shovels?
What is
Yeah,
it?
we
Does
should.
it have a marking or anything?
No marker.
We got a badger. Just kidding. You could do that.
Out of character, I'm absolutely curious, and I would totally dig up this grave. But in character, I don't think Yaz would really care that much. It's a grave. People die.
I want to know who it was. It could be related. This attack is not occurred.
My move.
Okay, so I
Okay.
think I hear
Probably
digging
not.
starting.
It is probably not Jamna.
Or at this point, and I'm going to start digging whether they decide or not.
Okay, could I have a quick athletics check from you, please?
I will assist.
Show has convinced me.
Sure.
This could be information.
You just start digging down, and it's a good 4 to 5 feet. The earth's freshly turned over, though, so this isn't too hard. And you come across a body wrapped up in, a little bit of burlap, just to, kind of keep it in spot. You haul it out of there and uncover it, and the face isn't one you're not like, oh yeah, that's Joe. You're like, could I have some sort of maybe insight, maybe history, maybe perception?
Perception, history, maybe perception or insight. We'll go with insight because you said insight. Okay.
So Chiquito's like right up in his face, like, hang on, I wanted to wear that face. Chiquito, Chiquito, you definitely recognize this as one of the folks that was acting as an assistant to the cart carrying the beer and the drinks. So Bade's cart, though this isn't Bade, it's one of the, it's hard to call them a guard, more like a tough that was hanging out with him.
It's one of the beer boys.
Do you know enough to determine what killed him?
Well,
I'm assuming it's a medicine check.
I think medicine sounds appropriate.
All right, we'll go ahead and I will take a look. I'll clear my mind
I
with
would
a little
like to help
boopy.
him,
oh,
'cause I
okay.
am also
Sure.
a little bit medicine-y, so I would like
Okay.
to give the aid.
By your powers combined, he was buried alive. No, wait.
Oh, yep.
So you're like,
Definitely buried alive.
there's nothing wrong with him. He was buried alive. Then you roll him over, like, sword to the back. That was probably
Okay,
what happened.
for a
that will
second I
do
thought
it.
it suff-
Almost every time.
I was gonna say suffocation, but yep, I see the sword. Yep.
The sword wound is a stab, which is a little bit unusual. So probably taken unawares when he was attacked. This doesn't look like he was, fighting. That would be cuts all over the front. This was just one hork jab in the back. Broad blade, though.
Well, that is enough for me. It doesn't tell me anything.
Okay.
I say we bury him back up and get
Dump
a
him.
move on.
Wait,
I wouldn't
I'm
mind.
going to pat him down.
Yeah, I wanted to pat him down.
Could I get
Wait,
a quick?
don't touch him.
Could I get a quick investigation?
Go ahead.
I'm so good at that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you are,
Yeah.
though.
I like how Yaz is like, I wouldn't really bury dig him up, but now that we have,
So so you're all like, all right, he probably doesn't have. And Yaz is like, opened his mouth, grabs his tongue, like pulls it out, checks the sides of the cheeks, everything. Yeah, there is nothing of value left to this person, and he's even buried in his small clothes. Like his clothing was taken off him before he was buried, and that's a bit much. Most of the times you're buried with not your fancy personal effects, but if you die on the road, you could probably expect to be buried in your shirt and your pants.
Mhm.
This guy, nope, doesn't even have that much.
could I do maybe could I check to see if I remember anything, recall anything maybe about religious rites that I might know of?
Oh, sure. So go ahead and give me a religion on that one.
Okay.
Boop. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yes. So while you're checking him out, and you're looking over the religious rites, this one actually slid past the medicine and the investigation check because there wasn't really any value to it. But two of his fingers are dyed bright red. It could have just been mistaken as a splash of blood or something like that. But when you go and give it a little rub there, you're like, oh no. That's a pigment of some sort. It's really set into the skin at this point. And you're like, that's actually a Cult of the Dragon thing. That is a favorite of the Red Dragon style. So you're aware of some of the hand signals, and when they're buried, they often dye those fingers so that they are permanently showing their affiliation.
Huh. Wow. I'm gonna attempt to cut him off.
I'm pretty sure you have it within you to just succeed in that, but okay.
Just, I'll
Go
use
with
my
the why.
I'll get
Yeah.
little tiny snippers come out of my my finger and
Just little extra snippy teeth out of his fingers and chick 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 chick.
Maybe we'll get a
So
rise
are you
out of
going for like
somebody
a
with
whole
somebody.
hand, or do you just want the 2 red fingers?
Might as well do the whole hand.
Okay.
We're gonna get. Maybe we'll get a rise out of somebody.
You have
having
a
this around.
severed hand.
I guess maybe that's not too much, right? Would this get you? Would this?
Not his face. That's.
I'm looking
not
for a
him.
reaction. Would this give it a reaction, guys?
Are you going to wear it?
No.
I
Well,
did not
no.
on your head, but
Really
okay.
No.
Depends on what you're doing with it.
Wah,
honestly.
wah,
I
wah,
mean, you throw it around like a rubber chicken, like it's a joke. Yeah, you're gonna get a reaction, but
That's
you
what
know,
I'm saying. But
keep
pretty
it-
much what I'm saying. I don't know how long this lasts, but
I don't
sorry.
know. Having a dead man's hand's gonna probably get a reaction no matter what you do. I think you're on a winning track here.
But would you be upset, say, if this is the burial rites of your people? I cut off your hand and I show it up. Wouldn't you maybe be inclined a bit to get pretty pissed off?
Probably, but he was sort of buried in the middle of a forest. Like he was.
They did not think
Bert-
much of him.
Oh, I guess so. Well, either way, I mean, I don't. They're not gonna know whose hand it is. I'm just saying, pretty much. Maybe we could see. Pretty much, my thinking is maybe if we present this somehow, I don't know. Maybe we could kind of perceive maybe who gets upset about it a bit more. The fact that we just cut up somebody's.
We could anger someone else who has a similar affiliation.
Double
That-
check.
Right.
Dragon Cult will become more
Identify.
angry.
Also, before you walk away with that, double check that hand. Make sure it doesn't have anything on it, like like ring groove that's sort of strange, or any tattoos or anything like that, just in case. Like you said, nobody's gonna know whose hand this is. Let's kind of make sure of that.
So the pigment that dyed into the 2 fingers is not quite a tattoo. It's kind of like henna, but as it's on dead flesh, that's as permanent unless you scuff the flesh away. So this is definitely a marked hand, but no additional tattoos or indications unless you knew the person's hand. And that pigment appears to have been applied at or after death, because you don't remember anyone in the caravan with that inking.
Interesting.
I mean, if anything, I'll just keep it. No biggie.
And you are
If it
still
starts to stink.
good.
I was gonna say if it starts to stink though.
I was probably gonna look for some water, maybe freeze it in some water or something.
Okay.
Do you have the ability to freeze water?
I sure do.
Okay.
I made an igloo earlier.
That's right.
Protecting. Yep.
That's right. Forgot. Slid
If
past me.
if there's moisture in the hand, maybe he just, if there's still a little something left.
So, just to be
Freeze my
totally
hand.
clear, this is not how you cast Chill Touch. That is not how that spell works. So,
We're not how you cast Chill Touch.
No, this is more like, I believe, shape water or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
So
I can't freeze somebody that's alive in it, but
You
this
could-
guy's dead.
you could freeze the hand in the yes. So yes, you have a preservation
But this
method
guy's dead.
if you so choose. Wow, this is okay.
We do that
I would like to roll insight.
on the hand.
So you're still a day and a half.
Wow.
You're still in a day and a half behind the stragglers of the caravan. So the front of the caravan's got about 2 days on you. Back of the caravan about a day and a half. And you have reburied a unidentified person, less one hand. What now?
They just continue on, I think. I don't know if there is anything else to do.
Okay. And the days begin to pass. Could I have a fateful D20 from the party? Higher is better.
That wasn't the D20. Sorry, I was doing something else.
That's okay. I was like, huh?
Okay. Damn it.
7 is high enough. High
But
enough.
Chiquito rolled first.
Yeah, I got a
15.
15.
There, I didn't even see it. It was so
Yeah.
close. The 15's plenty high. So you continue on your travel, and it just, cruises on uneventfully. This, foretold attack never seems to take place. And about 2 days ahead, you would anticipate coming up on Daggerford. You can see the hills starting off to the side, and your dwarven traveling companion at the moment let you know that, yeah, we're coming up on it. What was all this about? Are you offering any explanations for what's, why you're holding them back?
I've been honest the entire time.
Mhm.
Why would I change now? So we were given information that there was going to be an attack on the caravan. And it was going to happen when we came to the forest. And we were told to leave if we wanted to save our own lives. And if there was anybody that we thought was, for lack of a better word, innocent, that we should try to do our best to keep them back as well.
And the first time or two you try and explain this, Eldkin just sort of like palm to forehead but doesn't say anything and just sort of continues along. Now that you're within a day's shot of Daggerford and you kind of, Eldkin's asking you again, you explain again, she's like, all right, look, I'm thinking that likely the ambush was behind us, and had we turned back, they would have ambushed just the little group of us. I think you may have sent Werther to a very bad time.
I don't expect so.
Well,
The ambush was a result of people not paying the Zentarim their toll.
And it would be weird to.
And transporting
expect-
goods that they were not meant to transport.
And
You are
wouldn't
not
it
doing
be-
that. He was
Wouldn't
not
it be
doing
weird? Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep cutting
No,
you
go
off.
ahead. You're fine.
I was like, I think he's done, and then no, I'm like, I totally misread it.
Show has a slow speech pattern.
I know. I need to learn. Another thing that would it be weird to expect a caravan to go halfway and then turn around and then attack them on the turnaround? Wouldn't it make sense to wait where they're expected to be and attack them not then and not be like, let's send them backwards.
and
Yeah.
and Eldkin's like, no. What I'm saying is, if we had turned around, just us, they would have attacked just us. They couldn't take a whole caravan. That's why we drew a whole caravan.
But they seemed fairly confident that they could.
I think that's what's called a bluff, but it's okay. No harm, no foul. Werther didn't have anything worth taking anyway, and we're a day behind, but a day behind into Daggerford isn't any problem. Can we catch up now?
We can start to.
And she gets the horses moving a little bit faster, and you'll be caught up, within a day or so traveling. Just, getting the horses a little quicker, and everybody kind of giving a little bit of hustle. Eldkin's just like, I think you fell for a con.
You are entitled to think that.
All right. Well,
God, I hope she's wrong.
It makes no difference.
Sorry for trying to save your life.
and with that, and an extra little day or so, you all pull into Daggerford and catch up with the main body of the caravan. Now, they've had a day to rest, a day to recoup, a day to get a little trading done. But you're basically pulling in about the same time that the next day they're going to be pulling back out. So just enough time for Lilel to buy feed, rest the horses, and get set up to head out. And pick up a spare axle because her axle's been busted up a little bit. But she doesn't seem to be holding it too much against you right now. Things happen, no harm, no foul, and she doesn't want to start a fight with dangerous people. While you're in Daggerford for that short night, is there anything critical you want to get done?
I don't think there was anything we were meant to do in Daggerford.
Well, I have something that was given to me, unless I'm remembering from something else, to communicate. But is it a one-time only, and then I can't use it again? Because I thought I got something from Leosin that I was supposed to use.
So you have symbols from Leosin that you can give to the people in Daggerford to pass a message along to get back to the Harpers.
But it's not the only time I can use.
No, you can. You have Harper contacts in the major cities, Daggerford, Waterdeep, and so on, to say, okay, pass this message along for me, and then they will get it to them as quickly as possible. Usually ascending smaller towns, it'll take a little bit of doing.
Okay. Daggerford doesn't really qualify as a smaller town.
No, Daggerford's got people on hand.
Yep. So I definitely want to go ahead and send a message to Leosin, including about finding someone who looked like him buried up to his neck in the dirt.
Okay.
And so the half-dead person we found, everything. I'm just going to go ahead and acknowledge them on everything that we have found or not found, and say that I think that he's made a very bad bargain in us as spies.
Sounds good. So the response doesn't come immediately, but before you head out in the morning, a short response reaches back. You're doing wonderful. Have every confidence in you, Leosin. And just a little tiny pep talk that was probably the last few words in ascending, bouncing back and forth. But a little more dour and grumpy. As the caravan starts reassembling and they start to take notice that you've all rejoined, Bade, the bartender, and the caravan master are waved over, and Bade's like, no. I don't want anything to do with them. My man Giacomo got killed while they were off doing whatever. No, they're out. Don't let them back in. And he starts raising all sorts of hullabaloo about his man Giacomo getting killed. They're very suspicious.
Aiko, May.
Their flag boy, our flag boy.
No. And that flag boy got buried, and we took his hand.
Wait,
I don't know
what?
Aiko.
That doesn't help our cause.
Does not happen.
Bade is like, look, I don't know, don't care. We decided that the gods would punish whoever killed Giacomo, but I don't want them in the caravan. I don't trust them. They're up to no good.
They haven't done anything.
Yeah? Where were you when Giacomo was killed?
Escorting this other cart that was behind.
And he turns.
Broke, we helped them out.
And he turns around. The cart broke, and they help you out. And the well kind of looks a little like side-eye at the moment. towards you, like.
Yaz is just gonna try to keep on talking, be like, yeah, nasty sprain, and he's going to point to where, hopefully, I think they would still
Jiggle
be
it.
like.
Jiggle the foot.
No, he's not gonna touch it because their whole point was they're trying to help her.
Uh-huh.
They're like, see, nasty, big fall, loud crash. You didn't hear it a few days back?
So, how about a little deception-y there? 'Cause that's not quite what happened. Sort of what happened.
Yeah, those distractions. It's okay. Loud boom. Someone got hurt.
Dancing.
They haven't said anything to incriminate us. Yeah, totally fine. It's totally fine.
So Bay's like, I don't know what happened. I don't want to know. I just don't trust him. I'm not paying for him to come along. If they're in, they're paying full rate.
But we'll take our pay to today then.
Pay to today, and they're like, pay to today for what? And
For our job.
Caravan Master's like, like, I don't want trouble in my caravan. Here, we'll settle up, and you covered it to Daggerford, so it gives you the 10 gold for the trip from Dragonspear to Daggerford. Sorry, but, enough hullabaloo raised, and you weren't here. I don't know what went on, and don't really care at this point. I've got 2 more weeks on the road, and then I'm done with this. Don't need the trouble.
Good luck.
Thank you. And they kind of settle up from there. Most of the caravan kind of starts heading out. Bade and a couple of the toughs keeping an eye on the 5 of you. They set out kind of last. And give me a quick perception, if you would. Whoever would like to be in charge of the eyes of the party.
I chew on some jerky.
I'll give a perception check if that's okay.
Can I
With
help?
me.
I'm gonna do that.
Can I help?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you could help.
Could I use the eye? Could I? Or I guess never mind. I wouldn't be looking at them. Well, I mean, I was gonna say they need to do a perception check because I'm waving at them with a hand, but I'm not gonna do.
You should totally do it, but
Well, I mean, I was gonna do that, but I'll do my perception check first.
Shit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, wait.
You
I
did
was
get help.
With the
you
assist,
did help.
you managed to nail down what the missing objects are, and as you're looking at Bade and his toughs are looking back at you, you realize that several of the big barrels that were on the cart are missing. It's a big gap, and those were the ones you suspected were holding treasure.
Huh. Now we gotta find those barrels, I guess.
We could just throttle Bade and make him tell us what was in
Do
the
any of the
barrels.
other carts look like they're less weighed down?
No, all the other carts, I mean, a little bit of trade, but nothing significant. And
Yeah.
these were only really notable in that they were not being touched. And that was a little weird. You would have expected these to be tapped and emptied by now, but he was refilling at each stop. And he's refilled again, but 2 of the big barrels are missing.
Would it be possible for me to sneak to the horses and ask them what did the people look like who took the barrels? Would that be a feasible option?
I'm going to need a stealth to get there, and then an animal handling to ask them.
All right. He's gonna look to the group. He's like, if I get thrown in jail, save me. And then he's gonna try to sneak over to the horses.
Now you're gonna get thrown in jail.
He's like, I'm a lizard. I'm already suspicious. And he's going to sneak
They
over
don't
to
do
the.
jail here. They kill you and bury you in the road. This is like the second one we found.
Shh, it's okay. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Saying.
Safe
Alright.
travels.
And
Bye.
who? Okay.
Okay, pretty sneaky. Pretty sneaky.
All right, Coca. Here we go. All right, horses. What? Was there anything weird about people who took barrels? And what? Oh shit.
Okay. So you thoroughly confuse the horses for a little bit. And then you realize that the reason that they're so confused is you're like asking who the barrels were given to, or like who took the barrels, and they're like blood, fighting, screaming, yelling, and it seems like the barrels weren't traded or given to anyone. The barrels were taken with murder.
Who were predators?
And you're just not getting. You're just kind of cycling back on there. There was a lot of confusion. There was blood. There was yelling, and then there were no barrels.
Would I have enough time to ask where the confusion happened? Like where along the road?
Give me one more animal handling. This will have to be real good, though, because you've kind of confused them and they're already marching away from you.
Yeah. All right. Deep breath. That's really good.
They're already like from where you're like horse kneeing loud at them, and they're like stage whispering back, but they just can't manage it.
All right. He's gonna give them a little pat, thank them for their help, if we can call it that, and he's gonna return to the group.
They're horses. They're trying.
They're trying. I did something. So once I'm back with the group, I'm gonna be like, according to the horses, granted they were confused. My beast speak isn't so great. Coca can confirm. They said that there was lots of confusion, blood, killing, and then those barrels were gone. So something happened. I'm thinking back maybe where that man was killed, because that's the only evidence of killing that we've seen. That is a very far extrapolation, though. So
that could be that the Zentaran took enough to cover their lost fees. Took one life and left the others.
Perhaps. I tried to figure out where this happened, but horses were a little jumbled. But from what we've seen and what they have told me, that's my only guess, but it's not a strong one. I don't feel it's strong, but that is what I know of.
Well, now what do we do?
Could happen.
Could ask who?
They're still looking at us, right?
They're
bar
moving away.
tender.
They're moving away.
The caravan's leaving.
Amrin, the dude liked you. Maybe he'll tell you something.
I think he likes you that much.
That dude liked you.
They
What are you
flirted.
talking about? The dude.
He abides. Just go and find him. Talk to him.
Maybe like, oh, sorry for what
I could
happened.
try. I could try. I'll run up to him and I'll.
If you want to, just thought.
Oh. Didn't look very happy.
I know. It's a bit of a stretch, but he did flirt with you.
But I told him I'd kill him.
Maybe he's into that. He didn't seem too off put at the time. These caravan folk are weird. Who knows?
Yeah, small hands, smell of cabbage.
So I think at this point, we've exhausted the majority of the options with this caravan. They've become openly hostile towards you, at least a significant portion. From here, you know the caravan is headed on to Waterdeep, and if the gnome from earlier can be believed, some of the goods are being repacked and ferried north of Waterdeep up to where the Mere of Dead Men is. It's going to be a 2-week travel for the caravan from Daggerford to Waterdeep, mostly due to some marshy grounds near the Ardeep Forest. You could cover that much faster, or catch a ship and be there even quicker still, and get ahead of this caravan and pick up with potentially other cultists that aren't as aware of you to head north from Waterdeep. That would probably be the best suggestion from the feedback you're able to pass back and forth with Leosin and the other Harpers. They're still interested in seeing what and where these treasures are gone, and you've not been their most subtle correspondence, but you have been effective in your own way, because these are undoubtedly cultists. They are actively aggressive towards you, which is useful in its own way. Are you willing to make the journey north to Waterdeep, either risking sea travel or trying to sprint ahead on your own over land? Or is there something else that you'd like to pursue? The world is your oyster.
Well,
You can travel much faster than the caravan.
Yeah, I think we should split.
And if we get into the forest, maybe even faster still.
Sounds good.
Well, I think I would like to see this through to accomplish what we have agreed to do. If you think you can lead us to get ahead of them, that sounds good.
Lead?
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely do my best to get us there.
All right.
We could try to find the ship, but I don't know anything about that.
No, I'm happy to take us across land, and I think I can get us there. I was just surprised by the word you chose.
this ended.
So, let's let's have everyone give a quick ability check of choice for their overland travel. Common ones would be things like survival, gritting it out with just a pure athletics, or animal handling if you're investing in a horse, something along those lines. So what's everybody's preferred method of travel? And then can I see a skill check? And we're just looking for a above average success rate from the party.
I'm not very strong, so I would like to use performance because I'm going to fake it till I make it.
Okay.
I'll roll survival.
All right. Aaron's posting up good results. Chugging along, no worries. Show actually stumbling a little bit. Maybe the flat in the marshlands sucking at the heels.
This is outside of my expertise. This is why I ask.
That's it. But we are ahead of the curve already. Chiquito's in there with this success. Who am I missing?
Me. Could I argue acrobatics of like moving smoothly through the swamps, because this is like what I'm built for, and I can just I know the ways to move around?
Sure.
Hell yeah. You didn't sound convinced
You
at
just
all.
stick to the marshy parts of the forest.
Better
Yeah. Like, I'm familiar with how this works.
Rob, what did you do with the colorful silks?
Well, they're in my backpack. I had some plans for them, but
Okay.
if there's something you want to do, we can try. What you want to do? You got mine.
If they were out in the open, show would think they were very pretty and would want them.
Oh.
But if they're in your
Oh.
backpack, then that didn't happen.
No, I had a plan for them. Might be out to impress somebody. I don't know.
I really like it, Rob.
Oh,
You don't have to do anything else, but I appreciate it.
No, I'm working on my beard for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you do make good time across the landscape, making your way to Waterdeep. Now, Waterdeep is a very large city, so even from a distance, you can just see it as a blot on the landscape. A massive waterfront complex, a deep city up high on a ridge, massive statues that look like humanoid figures in very strange positions scattered throughout the city itself. And then beyond that, a suburb, effectively, a massive graveyard, very large hill, and other impressive areas there. Now, the information that you have from Jamna says that the cultists are involved in the road construction in the Mere of Dead Men away to the north. Do you have interest in going into the city, or are you skirting the city and avoiding the attention that might bring to look into those carts traveling north from there? What's the plan once you've gotten ahead of the game?
I've never seen anything quite like Waterdeep.
It's a biggin.
How is the weather at this point?
So you're deep into spring at this point. You've been on the road for about 2 months, and you started out on the first thaw, basically. So you're traveling north, so you're chasing cold weather north, and Waterdeep's not far from the Sword Mountains. So there's still a chill in the air, and you can see snow on the mountaintops off in the distance. But warmer.
Warm enough for Yaz?
Warm enough for Yaz to not be uncomfortable.
Okay. Alright. And he's good.
Our mission does not pull us into the city. If Anrin, if you think we can stay ahead of this and skirt the city and find where they are on the other side, we can do that. But if we have reason to go into the city...
Well, that's just it. This is a very large city. They could be anywhere inside that large city. We don't know where they've gone. The only thing we do know is that they're going to the Mere of Dead Men. But if we follow that person's, the gnome's advice, could be being, what was it that she said? We could be bluffed away from our path. Could be a permanent disinformation attack.
Perhaps
Making us disadvantage ourselves.
Perhaps your Harper friends would know something in the city.
That's another really good reason to go into the city. And somehow I just don't think we're going to be as noticeable in this city as we might be anywhere else.
Oh, I would put on my dress.
That would be lovely.
Ooh.
So, that mess right there
Wow.
is Waterdeep and the surrounding areas. The good news, bad news. It's the high road out of the north gate is one gate, so you know where that is. The rest, there's some doing in there. And this is a city that's fond of paperwork and fond of fees. So as you get closer and you reach out to those in the Undercliff, the area outside the city proper where one of the Harper contacts is, they take your message and let you know that it'll be, a couple of hours. They'll get into the city, they'll pass it along to the right people, get it over to someone with these skills, and get your contact made. What's the message or the request that you're giving?
So the message is that we're in Waterdeep. And I've already told them that I think they're going to the Mirror of Dead Men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to confer with my group. What else do you think we should tell them? What's important for them to know? What do we need their help with?
We want their eyes on where this caravan may have gone in the city.
Yeah.
I don't know beyond that.
Okay.
So you give that information. They go into the city. They come back out. They say, okay, we've got some contacts set up for you. Just follow us in. Kind of keep your head down. Answer any questions with a mumble. It'll be fine. And they take you up to the gate, and papers are exchanged. You're looked over. They make sure you're not carrying anything explosive or super dangerous, and they kind of give you the nod, and in you go. They lead you through a couple of city streets, and boy, this is a big city. There's a lot going on here. But you're almost maybe a little bit comforted when you end up in a little bit of a rundown part of the area. Yaz, this looks a little familiar. You've seen, how the city decays, and okay, this is okay. They gesture towards a manor house, and up on the outside is a little signpost, and it reads Troll Skull Manor. And they say, okay, we've got a couple of contacts inside. You might have heard of him. His name's Volo. Just go inside. He's a friend. He's not the most reliable, but he'll get you set up. And you're invited. You're sent inside. The tavern's being newly renovated. Obviously, some money's going into recovering a rundown, ramshackle sort of house that looks like at some point in its past it served as a tavern. It may have served as an inn, and it probably was a flop house for a while. But that's all being scrubbed away. Man with twisty mustaches, kind of a floppy hat, sitting in the corner, and he waves you over. He says, "Oh, yes, excellent. You would be those that I'm told. I am Volo. You may have heard of me. No? Okay. What can I do to you? Welcome to Waterdeep."
Do to us.
Do us.
I was about to say, that sounded weird.
What you gonna do to us?
What, you wanted something done to you, right?
Done to us or for us?
I would imagine both.
What is this?
Pardon?
What kind of establishment is this?
Well, actually, I'm not the proprietress myself. I just rent a room upstairs. I believe she sells Happy Wife products.
The wife?
I don't know what that means.
Well, from what I understand, it makes wives happy. I don't go into much detail. She terrifies me.
None of us are wed.
Well, then likely that's not for you.
To my knowledge, I guess we have not had that discussion.
Haven't had the discussion if you're wed?
If anyone, I don't know. We've been traveling together, but I don't know if anyone is wed.
And as he's talking, he just sort of strokes his mustache, and he just seems a lot more charming all of a sudden. And he's like, yes, but I I digress. Again, what can I do to you?
Like
That's a
that
weird.
word.
That's just a weird phrase, man.
You keep on saying, who says that? I say
Yeah,
stuff like
Well,
that. What can I do
I
to
do.
you?
Volo. Yes.
Oh, hi. I'm
Hi.
Chiquito.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Chiquito. What type of thing
Here.
are you?
Thing?
doesn't feel.
I have a
good.
beard.
I do see the beard. It seems to be. Is that paste? Is that hooks? How do you have that attached? I'm a student of all types of creatures, and well, I've seen creatures that breathe, and I've seen creatures that don't breathe. But you don't breathe in a way that makes me think you're a thing.
He's not a thing.
Are you quite certain?
Thank you.
I'm very positive. And you're
Excellent.
becoming remarkably less charming.
And he twists his mustache and he seems more charming again. And you
Ooh.
realize pretty
That's
quickly,
okay.
you're like, wait a second, what makes me feel good about him and then pissed off about him about 30 seconds later? He's casting the friends spell over and over and over and over and over. So for just like
I don't care.
a few seconds, he seems charming, and then he seems like an ass.
I recommend you stop doing that.
And I'm not liking it. He keeps calling Chiquito a thing. That is really not making me happy at all.
Well,
Let us-
what do you prefer? I was going to call you Chiquito.
That I would have preferred that. That's okay.
Okay.
I guess I thought my disguise looked okay. I guess not.
I mean, it's an excellent disguise. I mistook you for a thing.
I am a. You're asking what I'm a druid.
Yes. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
But it does take all time. Again, we're straying from the topic. What would you like done to you?
I don't even know at this point.
We are tracking a caravan that came into the city, and you have been recommended as someone who can assist us in finding it.
Yes. What do we know about this caravan?
It is
And-
loaded with ill-gotten goods.
And where's it headed?
And it will be heading out of the north gate.
And who is captaining it?
The cult of the dragon.
Oh. Well, if it is headed out the north gate, and it is involved in, and you've given more detail, and it's involved in the construction of the High Road, it would be under the command of the High Road Charter Company, a consortium of guilds, noble houses. My good friend, Lord Neverember, you may have heard of him, is in
No.
charge of it. And it just so happens I am also friends with his son, Rainier. And between us, I'm sure we could arrange to have you hired on, or give you passage to the north. A friend, Ardred, commands the convoys there. I could put in a good word. Is that what you'd like me to do to you?
Can you make us
For
not look
us,
like ourselves?
I am an expert in disguise and procrastination. As long as I could do it tomorrow, it will be fine.
Will it always be tomorrow? If
No.
you're an expert at procrastination.
Well, I need a little time.
I could wait until tomorrow if we would, in fact, look different than we look today.
You would, though the journey
You would look
is...
at least a day older.
Yeah.
The journey is some ways to the north, and I would not be there to keep up the disguise. How much unlike yourselves do you need to look?
Well, fortunately, we have at least one companion with us who might be able to help us remain looking not like we are. And for some of us, we need to look less like ourselves than others.
And I will say, between the resources of the Harper and Volo and the goodwill that you've gained so far, they're able to come up with some pretty high-class disguises for you all. Some actual prosthetics, things that, will not be easily seen through. You do have, a good week and a half, 2 weeks lead on the folks that know you coming up. Is there anything else that you would want to invest some extra time and energy in before heading out of the town?
Do you know of a group of the Order of the Gauntlet in town?
Of course. Some of my best quotes come from them.
Would you know if Ontar Froom is here?
I've heard of Onthar Froom, related to El Turel, I believe. I think he would be there most likely.
Most likely normally, but he is affiliated with our endeavor.
And, well, I can certainly put in a word to ask where he is. And after a little time goes by, you will get word back. Onthar is still in El Turel.
Okay.
Was there something else to follow up on that one?
Where's Leosin?
Only that I would check in with the Order of the Gauntlet, as we are employed by them as well as the Harpers.
Sounds good.
Is there anything maybe, that you could think of that might help us out? Since there's, I'm assuming you don't like mass kidnappings and whatnot.
Oh, no. Actually, personally, specialize in the research of dangerous beasts. You might have heard of my books.
No.
No.
What is it? What is the book called?
Well, I did a guide to the monsters. Volo's guide, no. How about my many pamphlets on the wonders of Waterdeep? I do have a few. And he starts going through and he pulls out like a bunch of little glossies and like hands them to you. And they're like, see the wonders of Waterdeep. Look at this statue. It's big. And all of them are written very...
It's big.
God catcher.
That sounds about right.
It is big.
It is big.
Whoa.
Truth in advertising.
And all of them have like printed real big, sponsored by Lord Rainier Never Ember and the Council for the Spending of the Never Ember Fortune in Waterdeep.
I will happily look through this.
Oh, and woof, you get like the whole stack.
Do you happen to have one of those books around?
Oh, I do. Just a moment, and that'll just be 6 gold.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
It is okay. And he's hands out.
Thank you. Thank you
welcome.
very much.
And
Okay,
so the 6 gold.
appreciate it.
The gold. The gold.
Yeah, sure.
I'll
yeah,
even
I
sign
got
it
some
for
gold.
you.
Oh, you don't have. Well,
And like
it
the
won't
collector's
appreciate
edition
value with it,
to
right?
my
Oh.
dear friend Chiquito.
No, don't put a name on it. Then I can't reset. Oh. Okay, thanks.
Shall I make it out to eBay?
eBay. That's fine. Okay, thank you, Lolo. Appreciate it.
Yes. And with that, is there anything else before we skip ahead a little bit in time?
I would like to check in with the Order of the Gauntlet, if you can tell me where to find them.
Oh, sure. So the Order of the Gauntlet, I'm not sure if they actually have a chapter house effectively in Waterdeep, aside from the actual council. But they will respond as appropriate to you. What would you like to report to them or get back from them?
Just really reporting what we've uncovered so far. We've given it to the Harpers, but we were employed by both. So.
Yep, sounds good. So yeah, same basic feedback from them. You get a little bit more, support, directed towards you. primarily they're helping you out with the disguises, and the ones they've put together for you are pretty flawless. They take a look at what you are and say, okay, we can't hide these features, so let's exaggerate them. So, they bulk out your half-orcs to be more orky. They give a couple of different skin tone options for the elves. They're like, for Chiquito, how about you put on this armor instead? And they give you a complete...
They give you someone's face.
They don't give you someone's face. They give you a different set of armor. The armor happens to have one of those like drop-down masks in front. So when you integrate the masks to yourself, you have a different face option available to you. So
Different face option.
yeah, you could just like to. It's like the tri-face from Riddick.
Yeah. Or Manny faces.
Yeah, or
Yes.
many faces. That's
Yeah.
Thank you.
so.
So you could have big eyes and beady eyes and any eyes in between.
I had something.
I was just thinking more of a nose. Thank you, though.
They get one of those big carnival masks with like the giant.
A plague doctor's mask.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually a full carnival style mask shop just down there in the trade district. Get yourself all feathered up if you want. But these things are all available to you, and eventually, it's time. Yep,
I was hoping to find a tailor,
absolutely.
seamstress, and see if I could get my silk made into a shawl to go with a dress. That would be for a very tall woman.
Sure.
What?
How about some sort of skill for describing what you want? The tailor
Okay.
will make it well, no matter what, but it's going to be your tastes that influence it.
Oh, good. It's going to be very rustic.
Going to be very rustic.
Just intelligence, maybe?
Sure.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
It's gonna be ugly.
Oh,
It's not so much ugly. They stop you. They don't let you be ugly. Okay? But it is exactly the wrong thing. Like if what you wanted was like an airy, fluffy thing, what you communicated was I want it to be warm. I want it to be heavy. Just
Silk.
yeah. It's well, you're like
Padded
I
silk.
want this. I have silk, but I want it to be warm. So like, you want fur-lined silk? I mean, we'll do that for you.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
yeah, I mean
Sounds
that's it's very soft on the inside, but it's no longer silk on the outside. You kind of
Yeah.
went the wrong way with it.
Oh well. How much is it gonna run me for my?
We'll say
like,
it's the other
Christmas
half.
costume shawl?
We'll say it's the other half of the fine goods. So 7 gold, and it is. I mean, it's fine attire. This would
Got
not
it.
look out of place in court, but it's
Or on Mrs. Claus, apparently.
or on Mrs. Claus. But whichever way round you were thinking. So whatever you had in mind, the reverse is what happened.
Did we all get 10 gold pay for that? Or was that 10 gold that went to the party?
10 for the whole party.
Okay.
I put it in the party fund, so we have 95 gold.
Okay.
I would assume that Chiquito would have said that maybe it not be metal, whatever that, like, as far as the disguise was, he would kind of ask for it to be something else.
And they meet up to your request. So they're able to exchange the armor that you currently have for whether it's a lacquered reed or whatever style that you would want, but in a completely different body structure. So just by you integrating it with your body, they work with the House of Gond, and there's a small mechanical person there called a Nimblewright, who assists you in getting it all set up, and she is super hyped to help you get set up. And when you meet that little Nimblewright, if you are not charmed, you're dead inside. But she's all over it. She's like, what do you want? And she's like, you want it made of reeds? You want it made of woven mats? You want it made of diamonds, just name it. And when she tries to make it out of diamonds, people are like, no, you're not allowed to have the diamonds.
You can make another.
Those are
Hero
pretty.
So yes, Nim the Nimblewright is very interested in helping you, seeing you as a kindred spirit.
I would probably talk a bit and then we'd move on.
Sure. And from there, I think we're headed north once more. Disguises in play, hired on by the road crew to escort a cart. Now, these carts, you've been scoping them out over the course of the last few days, and you can see that there is what's needed for the road work. You know, they've got nails, they've got, axes and such things. They've got, tar and other such things, construction, cement, that sort of stuff. Then there's always one or two extra barrels or one or two extra packages that don't quite match up. And the people that are doing the loading, they wouldn't notice, but you kind of doing your counts, you're like, wait, that didn't come from one of the storehouses it was supposed to. And those are what you're going to want to keep your eye on when you head north. You've identified one of the carts that does now have those packages on them, and your friends between the Harpers, the Guard, and Volo, and Never Embers have gotten you assigned to that cart to head north. It's still a few days before the folks coming up from the south would arrive, so you're not going to be with that crew, but that crew might catch up to you over the next couple of days once you sit still. So you probably have a little bit of a time limit there of just a few days from wherever you reach your destination before people who recognize you are going to catch up.
Even despite our beautiful disguises?
They might not see through your beautiful disguises, but they might recognize some of your actions. Some of you are a little unique in behavior.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think Rob has resisted breaking into song yet. So they're like, wait a second. I remember this song.
I gotta dance.
You just gotta dance.
I mean, Rob has a lot of songs.
Rob does have a lot of songs.
That
It's
is
been a while.
They're
very
all amazing.
true.
Wow.
No.
I am the most innocuous
Some of them
person in this group.
I was gonna say.
So that puts us on the road once more, and as you are heading north, let's pop back over to the Sword Coast here. Oh, get me in the
Over on the other side.
right area here. Up and around, yeah. Okay, coming north out of Waterdeep, you are hugging the area between the coast and the Sword Mountains. It's not bad travels for the first week or so. The road's actually freshly maintained. They've been doing a lot of work repairing it. But then it starts to reach the Mere of Dead Men, an area of decay, swamp, where the tide and salt water have come in and just never gone back out again. Much of the mountain has just slid down to create this huge morass of dead trees and swamp area. As you start getting closer, you're a good 200 to 300 feet in elevation up above the swamp, but even from there, you're occasionally catching the scent that just says, ooh, hang on, my kin are down there. You know, there are lizard folk down in that swamp. You haven't seen any of them yet, but the marking are there, and you know, it just triggers like, wait, I'm not allowed to go there. That's somebody's property, kind of situation. But not up here, not on the mountain road. You know your destination is a roadhouse, and basically what's been happening is, as they've been reestablishing this roadway, They will build a temporary roadhouse. They will work on the road and stay in that roadhouse until they reach the point where it's no longer worthwhile trudging back and forth. They move a little bit ahead, build the roadhouse again, and then work their way along. There's been a good 2 to 3 dozen roadhouses along the way, and as time passes, these will become the places where people stop and camp. But for right now, they're actively being worked. The one that you're heading towards is called the Carnath Roadhouse. And that is basically the end of the line. Beyond that, the roadway has collapsed to the point that carts and other vehicles can't pass easily. They need to cut a new road into the mountainside because the old has just sort of slid down into the swamp. Could I have, from whoever thinks they know best about this area, a history check? As you all race away from the die.
I've never been anywhere near here.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anybody.
The only one I think has any chance would be Rob.
I'll give it a go.
Rob's been everywhere.
Good, Rob. You could do it, Rob.
I've
You
been everywhere, man. I've been here. Don't remember it. History check. All right.
You're gonna do okay.
That's
Did I go
That's
there?
not bad. That's not bad at all. So, you've been everywhere, and you recall tales of why you don't try and make it. Even though folks could hoof it along the high road, you just don't want to. And one of the big reasons is somewhere in that Mere of Dead Men, there's a black dragon. And it's said to be the cause of all this rot. But it doesn't seem to be causing trouble at the moment. The road work has gone on, and the folks that have been working at the roadhouse kind of are the opinion that, look, there might be a dragon down there, but there might be a dragon anywhere. We just keep to ourselves, and boy, we hope that a dragon doesn't take any interest in tar and stone, because that's all we carry. And
Same as the flu.
yeah, exactly. And
Oh,
I believe that's about where we're going to wrap for this evening. Picking up in 2 weeks as the party arrives at the Carnath Roadhouse in the Mere of Dead Men, or, a couple of 100 feet above it on the roadway that's cut into the mountains. The party is 3 to 4 days ahead of those who would potentially be able to identify them. Their disguises have held very well on the travel so far, and I will ask as we come back in 2 weeks from now for an idea of what those disguises are. So you've got 2 weeks to figure out and tell me what your disguise is. It's a convincing one. It's working, but I would like to know what it is. It doesn't need to be as complicated as our previous code names, but just a general description.
What's wrong with Calzone?
Stranger
Calzone,
danger. Was
Stranger
it?
danger.
Stranger danger.
And
Silent
all
death.
Silent death. And I still don't get this one. What is?
Oh.
I just see it every once in a while. I don't know what it is though. But
I genuinely forget too.
but we will pick back up 2 weeks from now, Carnath Roadhouse, on our way through Tyranny of Dragons. Just as a hint, though, we are here in the book. That's what we got left. So we got plenty of content to go. I will say that's including the Rise of Tiamat. So you've got till there before we hit the next, module. So got about a good chunk to
nice.
go. So hope you're all having fun.
Oh yeah.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Chiquito would be sharing the book and its contents with the group.
The monsters.
I didn't know that the beholders had so many eyes.
So,
This is
you
all
do
new
have access to Volo's Guide to Monsters. Should you ever want to do a Nature Arcana history check, if you have time to read up, you can take advantage on that. It counts as a tool to that event. If you are encountering that monster in real time, I highly recommend not looking down at the book and paging through it and trying to decipher his
One
cracked
second.
writing.
1 second. Lolo gave me this book. Hold on.
Just 1 second.
Lolo.
Good old Lolo.
Lolo. But
I guess just roll die every day that says, I don't know, what would be reading, history, arcana.
for Volos, no, it'd just be when you want to know something about a monster, you now have a resource for many dubious claims about monsters.
Okay.
Yep.
Dubious claims.
Dubious.
Lolo.
Dubious. I mean, he's still alive, so
Lolo.
some of them must work, but not all of them. And with that, we will stop the stream. Thank you, everybody. And who's Sories? S-O-U Souries?
Saoirse.
Oh, okay. Name I don't recognize.
No, never mind. That's not how it's spelled.
Nope.
Never mind.
Nope.
I lied.
Okay, well, hello, person. Bye-bye, person.
Thank you, person.
Thanks, everybody.
They popped in a while ago, but
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure when. I'm not sure who it was.
Sounds good. Well, hopefully you'll join us in Discord, and all the things that I'm forgetting to say are on the schedule. And I'll throw this thing up here. Cool. Catch y'all later. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know. It's just blessed.